Tonight's stories.
Sterilization update.
Kicking my sis out.
Paternity test with an update.
Husband no gay.
Husband no gay.
Husband was gay?
Husband was gay.
Update?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brandon.
Sam.
SJ.
XJ is here.
SJ is here. I knew she would make it.
I thought that was coming.
Just hit the like and subscribe. Just for that.
Sadia is here for a really special episode.
Yes.
I'm excited.
We reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh,
Celebratory barks from Husker.
That's him.
Bork.
Bork.
Thank you so much for that, Husky.
Thank you,
Hus.
Husky.
And
So supportive.
yeah, so we talked about how, like, when we first started, like 3 years ago, we were super excited for stuff like 500 views, 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unreal to think about the fact that we have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and commenting. So we have something for you, subscribers,
We do?
Yeah.
What is it?
Do tell more.
that you might be interested in.
This is called a tease.
Just so you know, you might want to stick around until the end of the episode to hear more about it.
Or you could just skip it all and just fast forward to the end because it's already recorded.
Because we do have
Yes.
time
But
codes, so
actually,
you could
no,
skip
but
to the
yeah,
end.
there is a time code. You could just jump straight there.
Oh my god.
But we do have a way of hopefully relaying to you how thankful we are and grateful of the community that we are a part of, that you guys help create. And we're going to talk more about that at the end of the episode. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So Sadia's back.
It's good to be back.
Sadia is back.
After
It's
one
good
of
to-
our most popular episodes.
I know.
That thing is popping right now.
I
Yeah,
need you
that
guys to
is
stop
crazy.
gassing me up because once I really start believing these words, it's over for
You need
everybody.
to.
Yeah.
It's over for
You need to-
everybody
Should
after
be
that.
gassed.
You
We're
need to
popular
look in the
giving
comments
gas.
every single time you have an episode on.
You know what? And I
Fan favorite.
started doing that. I had this meeting that I had to go to, and I needed to come off as a strong, independent woman
Yes.
naturally. And you know what I did? I went through those damn comments.
I just want to say, guys, if you have anything you want to say to Sadia,
Say it
knowing
in
that
this
she's going to
video.
read it,
Yeah.
leave it down in the comments
I'll read
below.
it. I'll read it.
We want this to be a SJ Love Fest in the
SJ
comments.
Love Fest.
Wait, I want to go back to something you said, though. Come off as you simply are.
Girl.
Oh,
You done
Realize it,
Yes.
stop!
We saw in the last episode that we had with you, there are some updates and people were letting us know about these updates.
Oh yes,
So we need to read some of these stories again.
we
We
have to.
have to.
We got to go back to them.
Some of them were. Ooh, Lord.
We'll do the sterilization first because we actually read that with you.
Yes.
So we don't have to read that again. Oh,
Husker was like, I wasn't here, so
He
can
rose
we-
up and chose violence.
Can
Oh
we
my
reread it?
God.
Because I don't think I heard it.
Yeah. Read it from the beginning.
am I the asshole for sterilizing myself against my partner's wishes? Okay, Reddit, I need some unbiased, outside opinions because I truly feel like I'm going crazy dealing with the situation. I, 28 female, and my partner, 28 male, have 2 children together and have been married for 8 years. For those 8 years, I've either been on birth control when we were preventing pregnancy or tracking my cycle when we were trying to conceive. Adding this just to give the community the context that reproductive responsibility has always fallen on my shoulders. Recently, we discussed the possibility of being done with children since we have our second and the family really feels complete. My new partner is in agreement that a 3rd child is off the table for him as well. So with that, I said, great, I can bring up sterilization for him or I. The reason I wanted this is because I've had every form of birth control before, and none of them ever really left me feeling 100% okay. So I wanted to be done with birth control completely since we both agreed we're done. It's been about 3 months since our talk about more children, so I brought up either getting a vasectomy for him or me getting a salpingectomy, removing my fallopian tubes. What I thought would be a productive conversation completely blew up. He outright refused a vasectomy, and when I was okay with that and I said I'd happily get a salpingectomy, he completely flipped his shit on me, screaming at me about how he forbids it from happening and how he won't allow me to damage myself like that.
Allow?
I ended up just leaving the conversation and headed to get our kids from school. But on the way, I ended up calling my gynecologist to schedule a consultation for the salpingectomy after making sure I won't need my spouse's approval. So Reddit, am I the asshole if I go through with the sterilization against my partner's wishes? Due to the support and advice I found on here, I managed to get the confidence and level headspace needed to try to have another conversation with my partner. After getting our children to their school/daycare for the day, I went to our local coffee shop to pick us up each a cup, and I figured it could either be seen as a show of care or a peace offering. Once I got home, he was sitting at our island doom scrolling through TikTok, which I think we've all been there. I decided standing across from him would be a bit of a better choice, so I gave us our respective cups and I asked if I could get his attention for a conversation. Well, what I hoped would have been a productive conversation turned unproductive really quickly as he sighed with an eye roll and turned off his phone. I started off by asking the big question of if he wanted any more children. I even suggested he doesn't think about what I said on the subject and just tell me his feelings about more children. With that, he answered a firm no and said, as he said before, a third child is and will always be off the table. I then asked him if he had any fears or concerns about surgeries/medical procedures. He said no to this question as well. So I asked him if he understood the procedure and what it entailed, and he said yes, he does, which is why he doesn't want me to get it done. In his words, I wouldn't be a woman if I got any part of my reproductive organs, what makes me a woman, removed. And he refused to allow me down that path. I then followed up by asking about him getting a vasectomy, and he said it's pretty much the same thing for men, and he won't let anyone take away his manhood. The final question I managed to ask was, did he just expect me to be on birth control forever? And this man looked me in my face and said, it works so well for me already.
Okay.
So why change things up? Guys, as I stated in my previous post, I am miserable and in debilitating pain with birth control. At the end of this, I just grabbed my coffee and went to sit on our porch, just trying to wrap my head around the conversation, while he sits in the house acting like nothing is wrong and we're just having a normal day off together. Update on, am I the asshole for getting sterilized against my partner's wishes? Hey Reddit, I just wanted to give a small update. I've been reading all of your comments on my last 2 posts, I swear. I appreciate all the advice and kind words, sometimes even the unkind words, because it gives me more to think about. So, to just start, I've been at my sister's with the children all weekend. I told my husband that she was feeling lonely and wanted us to stay over. He believed it, as we usually try and do this once a month. I called off work Monday, so my sister and I can meet with the divorce lawyer that handled her divorce. I'm unsure if divorce will be the path I go down, but I want to get my ducks in a row before laying it all down for my husband. Also, I would like to answer some questions that I saw a lot in my last post. Yes, I still plan to go through with the sterilization. I absolutely don't want any more children, even if this ends in divorce. I plan to tell him it's getting done no matter what he says or believes. There will definitely be no sex with him anymore. I feel like I lost all attraction and respect for him. The children don't know what's going on. They just think it's fun time at Auntie's house. Condoms are a no. I exist because of a broken condom. I currently have an IUD, and while yes, it has been the best birth control I've been on, I still cannot function properly for a week out of the month due to the pain, bleeding, and depressive episodes. No, he hasn't done anything like this before, which is what caught me off guard with everything. Disagreements in our relationship have up until now been able to be discussed and compromised on. And lastly, we grew up in a deeply Catholic community but fell away from church years ago. And then there's a final update.
You should get a divorce. If you're like not attracted to him anymore, you don't want to have sex, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are we?
What's the point? What are we doing anymore?
You know what we gotta do.
The writing's on the wall.
He's done.
It's over.
He's been chopped. Okay.
That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I don't like you anymore. I'm not attracted.
I'm not attracted to you anymore. We're definitely not having sex anymore.
So you want to stay married? Like,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Till death do us part.
I said it.
We're still working through the deeply religious trauma. So yes,
Yeah.
we will stay married.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't even consider that.
But this is what gets me. I'm assuming they had traditional vows where they're like, hey, I'm going to be with you through sickness and health. That's what this man vowed, right?
Yeah.
She's she's talking about how this is a health concern. And even still, he's just...
Well, maybe his value is like, well, I said I was going to marry a woman, and you're breaking that vow.
People pointed out...
Yeah, because
He doesn't think she's going to be a woman anymore.
Well, people pointed
true.
out, too, like, what does he think happens with, like, menopause? Like, when she literally can't have a period when she's older.
Yeah.
Because her body's like, yeah, you're actually done with that time in your life.
I don't think he's ever thought through it. I think
Of course he hasn't.
His like argument is so dumb. Like commenters had so many different things. Like what is this? What is this? I don't think he would consider any of those things.
It
Yeah.
seems like he has a very finite way of
Yeah.
thinking and capacity.
Yeah.
it's only convenient for him.
Okay.
You
For the
ready?
same story.
Same story, last update.
Okay.
Okay.
Final update. So I would like to start off by saying thank you to everyone for your amazing support, for the messages that I've received. I know I haven't replied in a while, but I've been reading it all. Now to start off, I'll update everyone on the meeting with a lawyer. I was able to talk through my options as well as what legally would be my husband's and what legally would be mine. I know my next steps of things would lead to divorce, and I feel confident in taking those steps if needed. After the meeting, I went back home and I got settled back in. I ended up just doing normal tasks until the kids got home. And when my husband got home, I suggested getting the kids in bed so we could talk. So we did just that. He ended up starting the conversation by saying, if I plan to get the sterilization, then he wants a divorce because he can't be with someone who doesn't share his same values. At that moment, I knew this was it for us. So I informed him.
Yeah, you said it. Very clear. Just like, I think I had a suspicion that we're getting a divorce.
So I informed him of my consultation this week for the surgery and my intention to go through with it no matter what. There was honestly a lot of back and forth, and I want to say it lasted for 3 hours before he said he's done and left the house. He's been staying at his mom's, and he hasn't really
Typical.
asked about the children staying with him. I've offered per the suggestion of my lawyer, but to no avail. Currently, I'm getting a legal separation agreement written up, so hopefully start the divorce process peacefully or as peacefully as possible. The kids ask about him, but I just keep telling them he's helping grandma for a bit. I'm not sure how to tell them he won't come back. Thankfully, my therapist suggests a children's therapist to me, so I plan to set an appointment there soon. I'm honestly not too sure where everything went wrong with us. I always felt like we had true love, but maybe I was just too naive to any of the other signs. So they're separating.
Well, that seems like for the best.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
And I'm a person who thinks that there definitely could have been love there, but still someone's flaws can prevent a relationship from being successful. Like you completely love someone and something you think that might be backwards or doesn't align with your partner can break you up because they haven't dealt with it. They haven't worked on themselves. No matter if you love them or not, like that can still completely derail this. And that's what happened here.
I think that can be just so devastating, especially
Yeah.
when you still have love for that person, and y'all just like, oh, that's
It's tough.
Especially like something like this where she did say that they came from a religious background and maybe that was a conversation they've had, maybe it wasn't. And honestly, getting to a point in life where you're happy, and then you're like, oh, by the way, this casual thing that I'm going to bring up,
yeah.
this discussion that I think we
Didn't
might
think it would
be on the same
anything.
page,
Yeah.
and it explodes everything. So yeah, you just sometimes stuff like this happens, unfortunately, but I think it's probably for the best, like, you know, so.
And it's probably not going to work because you took time apart. You took the weekend apart. Get back together. First thing he says, if you get sterilized, I'm divorcing him. I'm like, well, that's clear.
Well, perfect.
He had
Ultimatum.
time to think about it, and this is what he came to. He didn't come back and like, how I overreacted. Maybe we should talk about this further. Like, why I actually feel this. He was like, nah. And you know he hates those things. He hates an ultimatum. So, yeah. You got to get out of there.
Yeah.
It's for the best.
Especially with, I hope things change though for the kids' sake of how much the father is going to be involved.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like him just literally leaving and then not being here for like at least, let's say maybe a few days, maybe
Yeah.
more. Hopefully that changes in the future. So yeah, it's like a sucky update, but at the same time, there's resolution. I think even though it seems like you're moving into a bad direction now, maybe it's best that you do separate from him and
Yeah.
just start your own life.
Things get worse before they get better.
Right. Yeah. So our next update is my male husband, came out as straight. We have a few updates to that as well.
Yeah.
This story, I don't even know what to say.
Because you weren't here for this.
I would literally keel over and die.
You would die?
Like, I would be done. If my part... Oh my God.
So my 27 male husband, 27 male, just came out as straight. So we've been married for like 3 years and dated for about 2. In total, 5 years of a gay relationship. We're 2 men, have always been 2 men, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. My husband and I had a rather healthy relationship for the most part. Of course, we had minor arguments every now and then, but what relationship is perfect? In the end, we always resolved them, and our affection would continue as normal. This is kind of why I'm really confused by what's going on with us. Why now? I'm a Christian. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of that, but gay Christians do exist. My husband was agnostic. Not necessarily an atheist, just wasn't completely on board with any religion. And that's fine. I would have supported him if he found peace in literally anything. He didn't need to become a Christian. And honestly, as selfish as this sounds, I wish he didn't. I know this makes me sound like a terrible person, but he changed so drastically afterwards, and I miss the man he used to be. It was a slow start. He asked me about verses from the Bible. We went to church. He even fasted for Lent. Christmas this year was much more than just presents, and I was happy that I had this piece of me to share with him now. I was raised religious and struggled with my identity. If it weren't for other queer Christians, I would have left Christianity. I was glad that I still had these things we could bond over, but it kept ramping up. All of a sudden, he goes to church more than I do, which is perfectly fine, and is always carrying a Bible with him, and will randomly cite a verse when we're having political discussions. I've noticed his views have started to shift towards the right as well, and recently retweeted something saying, "Your body, my choice." You're a twink. Women's reproductive rights don't concern you in the slightest? It kept ramping up. He started agreeing with the whole LGB minus the T crowd and started spewing harmful rhetoric about drag queens as if we aren't friends with a bunch of them. When I told him that drag queens are much less likely to harm children than some pastors, he lost his shit saying I was a heathen and that his friends were right. This is the part that caught my attention. What friends? I asked him what he meant by that and he started backtracking, saying he was tired and we should go to bed. I was tired and arguing didn't seem like it'd be any good right now, so I put a pin in it and we got ready for bed. Our room has a bathroom connected, and usually we keep the door open. He takes a shower and makes sure to lock it, which was weird, but I didn't say anything about it. If he wants to set this boundary down, that's fine, but he could at least communicate it, you know? The next day is a Sunday, and he's already out of bed, and I'm assuming at church. I get up and got ready, but once I arrived, I realized he wasn't there. That confused me, so after service, I called him asking where he was, and he tells me he's in church. But I told him I was here too, and I didn't see him. He clarifies that he means this other, I'm not going to say the denomination because I don't want to cause any arguments, church. This was news to me, especially because he never brought it up and still carried our Bible. I told him to send the address and I'll pick him up so we can get brunch, but he tells me that he doesn't want his friends seeing me. That hurt. I asked him if we could at least meet up, and he said he'll see me at home. After a few hours, he finally comes home. He says we need to talk, and I agreed. I wanted to ask him why he didn't want his friends seeing me, and as I opened my mouth to ask the question, he said, "I'm straight." I stared at him for a bit, and then he continued, explaining that his church helped him realize he wasn't going to see the kingdom of God if he continued living in sin, and that he needed to leave me as soon as possible. He told them about the pastor comment I made last night, and they said that I was the devil trying to lure him away from Christ. He started repeating a lot of the same rhetoric I heard from other Christians growing up, and it really upset me. He even said that I could be saved, and that I already had the traditionally masculine look, and that I just needed to steer away from homosexuality. I feel like I'm in an alternate reality right now. I'm being told by the love of my life that I'm the devil and I need to return to Christ because I shut down his homophobic rhetoric. My gay husband is being homophobic. I'm sorry, but not once in the 5 years we've been together did he realize that he wasn't suddenly straight. It just doesn't work like that. It's not like we're in some other universe where COMFET, which is an abbreviation for compulsory heterosexuality, which means feeling pressured to act straight even if you don't identify as heterosexual. It's not like we're in some other universe where comfet is a thing, right? I told him that he needed to leave and that we could discuss arrangements afterwards. I still want him, I love him, but I have no idea how he could look at me with a straight face and tell me all of this. He started arguing, saying that he didn't want to leave and that we could just be friends. So I told him that I wouldn't be friends with a self-hating queer for the life of me. He packed a bag and left. His location shows he's at some random's house I've never been to, but I assume that's one of the churchgoers he's friends with. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do from here. Did I seriously just lose my husband? I don't understand how this could happen. What can I do now? I miss him already. And then we'll read the updates, but what do you think about that? Since you didn't hear it the first time.
Okay. The thing is, he never said that the OP's husband, he never said that he wasn't gay. He said that he didn't want to sin so that he could go and get into heaven.
Yeah.
This is so severe.
Yeah.
I don't even know what, I feel like this is so traumatizing because I don't know. I don't know where y'all go from here. I don't know if there is a place to go from here.
Yeah, we talked about a few episodes ago. We were basically saying that you need to leave him. Like, you should.
Yeah. Because,
like OP said, it's not fair for you to be around somebody who's, like, hating a part of themselves that you also identify with.
Mm-hmm.
And that you already had your own journey with.
Yeah, and that you've made peace with.
Yeah.
You know, how he talks about how there's a very small amount of gay Christians.
Yeah.
And now your husband, who is also a Christian, is being like, actually, no, that's wrong. I'm straight.
Yeah.
So you really just can't change people at a certain point. And if he's changing into this person, you don't have to be around that and listen to his rhetoric all the time. That's not going to be good for your mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
If he's not going to change. But
I just can't imagine being in that situation. Like, because being gay or like being anywhere in that spectrum, it's already kind of like an isolated community, right? Where you're like, it's a completely different lifestyle choice than the norm. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine being in a gay relationship and having my partner turn into like everything against everything that you are.
Yeah.
Like turn their back on the relationship, turn their back on you, turn their back on the community. I think in this scenario for OP, there's just so much loss.
Yeah, so much hurts.
So much hurt. That like, again, that he has to listen to this rhetoric. And growing up as like a gay youth or being a part of the LGBT community, especially being within religion, you already hear all that. Like you grow up hearing it all. You like grow up hearing, you know, that this is a sin, that you're going to die, or you're going to burn in hell. Like all of this shit, you hear it. And then as you grow up, you kind of make your peace with it and start to become a little bit more confident in who you are as a person. And then to walk in that, to live your life, to marry who you love, all for like 5 years later for them to come back and be like, oh, I'm straight and I literally hate gay people.
Because you thought you were one, you're like, I've been through this huge journey. I went through all this stuff. I found the man of my dreams. I'm married now. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And then bam.
You're like, I've played this game before. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But the bad guy, the betrayer, is the one I love.
Exactly.
The one I love most.
You pointed this out earlier, but I do think that we didn't cover this last time when we were reading the story, is watching a loved one change, like right before your eyes, into being a completely different person than who you met originally, and just having to watch that is probably, you know, really hard to see. I think OP talked about that a little bit of towards the end. He was like, I miss him. He misses the person he used to be. Yeah.
Like, cause I'm thinking about, I'm like, memories of when you're throwing it back. And I'm like, were you straight then? Were you straight then? Because the way you threw it back did not seem like you were straight then.
I don't think if you are throwing it back, like I'm
Now you
assuming
straight
OP
now?
husband did, there's no way you're straight in
fake,
any of
man.
that.
That's why I'm mad. I'm heated at that.
It's just so messed up. It's just so messed up. I don't think nobody's straight after that.
So, update. Thank you to everyone who gave me genuine advice on my last post. I'll quickly answer some common questions. No, he does not have a family history of bipolar disorder or any other mental health disorders that would
Mental
cause
illness.
sharp changes. No, he isn't cheating on me with one of his church friends, but I will get more into this later. No, he isn't bi. I'm bi, and we've had conversations.
Oh,
And he said he experimented in high school, but it wasn't for him.
okay.
So you tried it.
So you tried it.
You dabbled.
You dabbled like, that's gross. And now you're like, no, I'm straight
You
again.
telling me you dabbled? And
That's
okay.
even more.
I talked to his family and our friends about the whole thing. I explained we were separating because of his newfound faith and how he's acting. I told them about the shit he said, and they're all worried for me. I don't think that I'm in any sort of danger, honestly. I did talk to my church about this, and they told me that the church he's attending is notorious for this sort of thing. One of them will show up after service and wait outside, and if someone is walking out alone, they'll come up to them and start chatting. They'll pretend they go here until they talk to the person enough times to invite them to their church. Apparently, he was attending my church even on the days where I wasn't.
Crazy.
So he was alone a lot. It's really fucking predatory, and it's low-key pissing me off that he was enjoying my church and it led him to being taken away from me. I've had limited contact with him in the past few days. He came over last night saying he needed to talk to me. He didn't appreciate me contacting his parents and assured me that he is fine mentally. I wanted to start asking all the questions I've come up with since he left, but I didn't want to overwhelm him. I know he didn't cheat on me because that was the first question I asked. More so, are you leaving me because there's someone else? His response was that he didn't want to leave me, but living in sin wasn't what he wanted anymore. How did he figure this out, you ask? After grilling him for an explanation, he finally admitted that he tried to cheat. The guy who kept coming to my church and basically recruited him was apparently so attractive that he would listen to anything he said. So he tried to cheat, failed, and went full 180 and has decided being gay is the ultimate sin.
With a man?
What is try to cheat?
He
mean?
tried to cheat with a man and then came to the conclusion that he was straight somehow?
As a
What?
married man, as a married gay man.
Something's not adding up, actually.
What? This guy is lost in the sauce. What?
Not the fact that he tried to have an affair. This is actually going to drive me crazy. Finding out he wanted to cheat but didn't is actually almost worse, because it's like, seriously? You tried and got rejected? That's embarrassing as shit for you, and doubly embarrassing for me. I asked him if they knew he was married to a man, and he simply told them that I was his gay roommate who turned him, and now that he's straight again, I've gone off the deep end. He's an actual fucking liar. He showed me some Bible verses, ones that were just blatantly different from the ones in mine, and kept trying to convince me that I needed to change too. He said that he still cares about me and wants to be friends. I asked him what about our actual friends, and he said they're too far gone. He just kept talking, and I was done with it. He isn't the man I fell in love with, and it pisses me off. He wasn't even dressing the same anymore. Fucking white dress shirt and slacks, and the most boring hairstyle ever.
That was Marcus.
He didn't look like my Anthony. The more he talked at me, the more it was clear I didn't want to be with that man he is now. He left, and for the second time in our life, he walked out that door without saying I love you, and I was fine with that. This morning I talked with my lawyer, and I'm going through with a divorce. After I was done, I stopped by where he was staying and knocked on the door, half wanting whoever owned this place to be there when I gave him the papers, half because I didn't want him coming to my home anymore. When the man opened the door, I realized that this is who he was talking about, and it took me a bit to keep my anger in. I asked for my husband, and when he saw me, the look in his eyes made it clear that he wasn't expecting this out of me. I made it clear to the other guy that I was handing my husband, gay husband, divorce papers to end our marriage, the gay one, between two men. Us were those two men. Because I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you wake up next to a man for 3 years out of your life, chances are you're a homosexual.
That's pretty gay.
So sorry to break it to you.
Pretty gay.
Not gonna lie.
I won't go into details about the proceedings themselves, but I'm going to completely distance myself from him as best as I can. His actions have been horrible on my health, and his family and friends can handle him better than I can. I'm going to miss the man he used to be, but I have my people surrounding me. I'm going to be okay. I hope for his sake he'll snap out of this one day, because the self-hatred isn't healthy. But when he does, I won't fucking be there.
Thank God.
There's an update there. What are your thoughts on that?
Anthony, you're definitely still a homosexual, just in case you were wondering.
The attempt to cheat is crazy
I
with
know.
a man.
With a man, no less.
And you were like, dang. I mean, I was just kidding. I'm actually straight. He's like, I was just kidding. You know when you joke around and you like try to hit on your friend and then it backfires. You're like, oh man, I'm actually straight.
It's like I didn't lean in and try to kiss him. It's like, oh.
We're also getting denied so hard by the church guy that you literally are like, that's not my husband. That's my gay roommate who turned me, but I'm good now. I'm good.
Even the fact
my
that your
God.
gay roommate turned you, I'm like, I don't subscribe to the whole turning thing. I don't think anyone's turning
No,
people.
Pookie.
So I'm like, you're just probably gay, and then you had sex with your gay roommate. Then if that's what you're saying,
I just sealed the
I think
deal.
you're gay. Still,
I think the thing is, if you could turn,
if
probably
you
were
have the
gay.
possibility to turn, you just probably liked it, so you're gay.
You did like it.
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
You did like it.
Oh my gosh, Anthony. But I'm glad OP, because I think that's kind of the stuff we were saying is we're like us growing up in church and seeing the things that are being said in religion. We know like the tough journey that Anthony, now we know his name, Anthony's going to have to go through to actually learn to love himself and like really understand who he is as a person. But OP does not have to deal with that. Like OP doesn't have to sit in there and wait for him to hopefully come to his senses. It's probably going to hurt OP more than it's necessary. So getting the divorce is a good idea.
well, a lot of people were talking about in the comments of like, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not sure about YouTube, but a lot of people were saying, I'm a religious person and he's in a cult.
That's
and
what
I
it
do kind of
sounds
wonder
like.
about that, because when they talk about the Bible verses, he said, I was comparing our Bibles and it's written differently. Like the wording is different. I don't know if you heard that. So he said he was looking at the verses of Anthony's Bible and it was different. So when Anthony would be like, but this verse, because of this verse, this is why you shouldn't do this. He's like, that's not what my Bible says. I think they changed the wording of the Bible.
And the way he was recruited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're hanging outside other churches and like trying to get people to come to yours. That's definitely weird.
Yeah.
Siphoning people from the parking lot is absolutely egregious.
Top comment. OP, as the trope goes, no one is more zealous than a convert.
Yep.
You may have known people who quit smoking or drinking and suddenly become super judgy about others doing those things. So for him, it's this religious thing, and presumably some of the guilt that might come with it if he's not attending a more inclusive church, which is a thing that exists and probably should be where you're attending services. It's unfortunate that this is where he's at, but if he's going through with a divorce, it's in your best interest to get that over with and move on. It's not easy, but you can do this.
Yeah.
The sooner you get your mind around the marriage being over, the faster you'll be on the road to recovery.
Yup.
So sorry this happened to you.
It's terrible.
Yeah, Anthony.
Final update. Things are getting better. Other than seeing my post pop up on every social media I use every few days, I barely thought about the situation outside of therapy.
We're part of the problem.
He's surrounded
All
by
right.
I saw this
Sorry.
TikTok story of this girl reading.
I had a therapist for other reasons, but I've been going almost double the amount recently. I'm going out with friends more and even started picking up my own hobbies. My ex and I used to do painting together, but Lord knows I don't want to see another paintbrush in my life. I picked skiing back up along with starting photography. I've made a few new friends through both of these, which is also great. In hard times, the right people are always sent to me, and I'm grateful for that. My pastor and I have been talking more than ever recently. I talked to him about my struggles, but there's only so much one man can do to help. I've refrained from rebounding or becoming some serial monogamist, as hard as it is being alone, but I started to feel some comfort. I'm in a new apartment and I have the cats. Even though he said he wasn't going to fight for them, he still did. I really shouldn't take his word anymore. At least now I can live without someone micromanaging every little thing I do. Honestly, there's so much shit I want to complain about. Why did I let him make me block people I was friends with for no reason at all? Like he'd say that he wasn't comfortable with, but they had literally done nothing to evoke that emotion. I want to go on an unblocking spree and apologize, especially since a lot of them were childhood friends, but I feel like an asshole popping back up after a while. I literally couldn't go to the gym alone because he'd freak out, thinking I was going to leave him for someone more jacked when he knew that wasn't my type of guy at all. And somehow when his girlfriends would make jokes that made me uncomfortable, it was okay because they know we're gay. First off, no it isn't, even if we are. Second, for years he ignored the fact that I was bisexual, and I never argued about it because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna marry this man and be with him forever. So whatever hypothetical woman I'm attracted to doesn't matter. I'm just looking back at how much disrespect I let him put me through, and I actually feel like an idiot. Nice little rant there, but anyways, shit's going well. I'll live.
Yeah.
You sound like Drewski.
Are you just refusing to speak, Sam?
Like this next story.
Am I the asshole for refusing to speak to my ex-fiance before he died?
Yeah, asshole.
He must have done something terrible.
All right. I, 31 female, dated my ex, Nico, 33 male, for 5 years, from 18 to 23.
Okay.
We were engaged, living together, and planning our future. I was pregnant, and I thought we had a great relationship. We sometimes had our up and downs, but I never saw coming what happened. Basically, I discovered he was cheating on me a month before the wedding. He cheated on me with one of my closest friends, and some of my friends knew and didn't tell me.
Your whole network of people is...
That's hurtful.
One finally broke down and decided to tell me everything. Needless to say, I was not only devastated, but angry and confused. I couldn't manage to understand the situation, and I was so overwhelmed because I didn't know how to even begin to deal with the situation. But I understood that the healthiest thing for me to do was to just disappear and start over somewhere else. And that's what I did. I blocked him and the friends that knew and didn't tell me, even the one that had told me, because she had kept it from me for over 2 months and I didn't trust her. I deleted my social media, changed my number, and canceled all of the wedding stuff behind his back. I also took all of our money from our savings account and I sold the ring. All that stress caused me to have a miscarriage, and no one knew about this because I had gone back to my hometown and was staying at a hotel. I literally didn't tell anyone I was leaving, but I did tell one of my former friends that he should tell Nico I had a miscarriage. I had no family, and back then, I knew I couldn't trust the people I called my friends, so I chose to just keep everything to myself. I spent over a year traveling around Europe and Asia. I finally settled in Ireland since I have the nationality thanks to my dad. I'm from South America, to clarify. I still had money thanks to my inheritance, and I bought a small apartment for myself and I started working. I surrounded myself with some good friends and started therapy. I had multiple casual relationships, but it wasn't until I met Alex, 31 male, who also is from my country, that I fell in love again. I met him when I was 27 and it took me a while to trust him, but we eventually got serious. We got married last year, and earlier this year we moved back to our country. So I started using social media eventually. My former friends and ex hadn't found out about it at first, but one of them eventually did, and they started sending me thousands of texts, especially my ex, who kept asking us to have a simple talk, that he still loved me, that he regretted everything, and he hasn't been able to move on. This happened 3 years ago, and I chose to send one text to my ex telling him that I didn't hate him or resent him, but that he was just a part of my past, and as he knew, for me the past needs to stay buried. I once wanted to be with him for the rest of my life, but right now, I'm aware of the fact that he will not be who I thought he was, and although our relationships taught me that people are not what they seem to be, I shouldn't trust people so easily. For me, I wasted many years of my youth with him, and that was just it. I told him I was in love with someone else, and not to try to talk to me again, because he would never see my face again in person, and that was the end of it. After that, I blocked them all, and I put my account on private. Now back to the present. I reconnected with one of my friends from the past, Melissa. She didn't know about the affair, and she lost contact with our former group of friends because she didn't trust them because of what they did to me. She told me that she tried to contact me but had no idea how to do it. Although she's not friends with everyone else before, she's still friends with one of Nico's cousins, who was never close with him, but that had always been sad. From her, she found out that Nico was sick with cancer and wanted to speak to me. She told me, according to Nico's cousin, he had no chance of making it and he just wanted to speak to me. Melissa told me to do whatever felt right, and so did my husband, and I agreed. I decided not to speak to him and just told Melissa she should tell Nico's cousin that I don't want to speak to Nico. My reason is simple for this. I put everything in the past. I healed from this situation. It was hard, but I did it. I don't need closure. I know I don't owe him anything. I have no feelings towards him. So I recently found out from Melissa that Nico passed away. Now his family is furious at me. They can't get to my social media accounts, but they got to my husband's. They told him that I was just a bitter bitch that couldn't even grant the wish of a dying man just speaking to me, telling me that's all he wanted. Alex just blocked all of those accounts and put his account on private for a while and told me not to let them get to me, that I did absolutely nothing wrong. Although I truly didn't wish to speak with Nico, didn't have anything to say to him, didn't want to hear anything from him, I began to wonder if I should have just listened to what he had to say just so that he could go without holding anything. But I don't know if I truly think that or if it's just let the creeps of his family get to me. I don't know. Am I the asshole?
Of course not.
I don't think so either.
I mean, it's what.
It's
for
not
what?
your responsibility.
It is not her responsibility.
It obviously sucks that he had cancer and that he died from that, but you can choose to never speak to people again.
Yeah.
Especially if you've already come to your own, like you've made your peace with everything.
Right.
Because I mean, especially if I've gone on this healing journey and I'm done with it, I'm done with it. There's no need for me to go back. There's no need for us to rehash. You say that you still love. I know.
Also, you weren't good to me. So
You
I don't
weren't good to me.
I don't owe anything to you.
You cheated on me. Like, you miss me, you still love me. I know, I'm me. That makes a lot of sense. I don't need to hear it.
Me.
I don't need to hear it from you.
Right.
So
I think the thing that's really weird is the family reaching out all to this one person.
That's so messed up.
I don't understand that. Like, you just lost somebody.
Well, I think that's grief.
I think
and, like,
Yeah.
I think that's how they're
wanting to
grieving.
Just lash out and just feel something.
It's misplaced.
That
right?
has to
For
be
sure
what it
it's
is.
misplaced, but that's what I think it is.
Yeah. But he said multiple people reaching out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I can understand it for like a few people, but if they're like the whole family's reaching out, I don't get that.
I feel like in a lot of instances, like when people are kind of on their deathbed, at least from what I've experienced, the people around, they really are just trying to feel like every need or want that they want to have done or like want to have happen just so that they can be comfortable in their last days. So in that aspect, I guess, like you guys said, completely misplaced.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's what would motivate them to do something like that.
Well, could I just imagine, like, if one of our family members were on their deathbed and they were like, I really want to talk to this person, like, this is something I just want to do before I go.
Yeah.
And you went to go ask that person and they're like,
No.
nah.
I ain't got nothing for you.
I think just like intellectually, like, yeah, you're right. You don't have to do anything, but in your head, you're like, this is the person I love. This is my family.
Yeah.
You won't just do that for them. So I get the anger where it would come from. But as OP, that's not your problem.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like being a part of unintentionally and just seeing how quickly, especially if it's something strong, like a last wish of somebody who's going to pass away, but really just an idea from people that you respect in your family can go a long way of like, oh, well, so-and-so said this. And you're like, oh, really? And then it's like, over time, everyone doesn't really like so-and-so. They have a problem with so-and-so. So when they hear so-and-so, they're like, yeah, we all have mutual beef with so-and-so.
Yeah.
And especially adding grief to that, I feel like it can be kind of easy to spread like that type of, there's no one to blame for cancer. So I'm going to be pissed at you just for this one little thing, you know?
Because to them, like, yeah, it is little. Because they don't have, they weren't in the situation. It was only between him and her. So like you don't know what this was. You just have the outside perspective, and it's likely his perspective.
Yeah.
And so you don't know like what this was. So you can't tell me like I know what it was. I know I've moved on from it. I know I'm grown from that. This is done for me.
Didn't OP mention that Nico tried to reach out even before he found out he had cancer?
Yeah,
like 3 years
before.
ago.
And I'm like, hell, I didn't want to talk to you then. I damn sure don't want to talk to you now. 3 years later.
Yeah, that text was your closure.
That was it. When I sent that text message, hey, I ain't got no hate for you.
Yeah.
Live your life.
Sucks you have cancer, bud.
Because that was another. We did a story like this maybe like a year ago to 6 months ago, where same situation. It was like a past partner, but this person had completely moved on from them.
Oh yeah.
And they actually went to speak with her multiple times while she was on her deathbed, and he didn't regret it. But I think it's all depending on the person. Like if OP's saying, I don't want that, that's my past, I'm leaving it in the past, that's totally fair for her to say as well. Because also having your entire friends and family, like your boyfriend and your friends, they all knew and nobody said anything.
No one said anything.
If I ever find out my network is corrupt.
Why did my heart, like, I got so scared the way she looked around.
If I ever find out my network of people is corrupt like that, I'm burning it all down.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Why is she looking
I'm burning it
She's
all
looking
down.
Each one of us in the eye.
I think it's funny because
I just want to make
you're
sure
getting
we all have
intimidated. But for me, knowing I have nothing to hide, I'm like,
Yeah, girl.
I'm like, yeah. I don't
I
feel
would
any
write
type
it
of threatening because I'm
down.
not doing anything.
That's
Flame of
so.
Sadi is good.
I would say stuff so quick.
Everybody would feel the
I
wrath.
would say stuff so quick to you, SJ. Like,
Well, also
100%.
because we're SJ's angels, so
yeah, we
kind of
to.
have
Obviously.
to.
We have to. It's like
Guys,
not
we
even
gotta do
choice.
the pose.
Wait, you have to do the middle one.
Look at
You're
my
in the middle.
angels,
You're in the
guys.
middle.
Look at my angels. Ah! I love it.
It's like in the contract we have to do it.
We have to do that every time. Whoever's in the middle is.
I really think I'm like kind of like the same as OP because once I process stuff
Yeah.
and once I've made my way through it, I'm so done. I'm done after that.
There's
I
no
don't-
point.
There's just nothing. I ain't got nothing left.
Well,
I
also
don't.
to a certain extent, like when it comes to, but thinking about closure and how you have a certain idea for it of, let's just say in a perfect world, because I literally tried to do that before where I tried to talk to somebody that I cared about and be like, listen, there's some issues that have really affected me. And he was not receptive of it at all. And it was not what I thought was going to happen. And after that, I just kind of shut off and was like, I'm not going to get what I need from you.
Right.
I need to get that for myself. And for OP's ex to just be like, but I need you to be here. It's like, I'm so sorry, but you really can't expect for people to give you closure.
can't.
For the most part, it's from you. I mean, you can maybe hear something of like, oh, I'm sorry or whatever that is, but.
And especially since he cheated, because there's not really anything to do. Like, y'all could talk about it, but that's something that he did completely on his own.
Especially because she's healed. She's like, I don't need that.
And just hearing why he did it or any of that, like that doesn't do anything for you.
It doesn't do
necessarily.
like.
And especially after all the healing and stuff, she's a completely different person.
Yeah.
After all those years. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like talking to an old friend. It'd be more so talking to a new person.
Almost a
telling you,
stranger.
Yeah.
When you heal through some traumatic shit, bro, you go through a software update for real.
iOS 10.
Like y'all are legitimately not talking to the same motherfucker y'all was talking to 2 months ago, 3 months ago, however long ago.
Now you make me think about like when you know you have stuff you need to work on, but you kind of choose to keep pushing it off. That's when your phone keeps telling you have a software update, but then you just say remind me later.
Remind me later.
I'm stay and remind me later.
Remind me later.
It's not the time.
I know it's big, but
phone.
like I don't want to do it right now.
And they're like, we'll just do it in the overnight. I'm like, no, don't
Don't do it
overnight.
at night.
Do it
Don't
when
charge your phone
I
overnight.
do explicitly say, I'm like, I guess I won't charge because you're not
You're not
updating.
doing this while I'm asleep.
I'd tell you in the
Then you wake up, it's like, your phone's been updated.
You're like, oh my God. Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out of my house for telling my husband he's so lucky to be rich?
What?
My husband lost both of his parents when he was 17. Their deaths were preventable and others died alongside them. And because of this, a lawsuit followed. And at a young age, my husband found himself orphaned but wealthy. But I think we can all understand that this money wasn't some great thing that he celebrated because it came at a huge loss for him, his parents. We met a few years after he was awarded the money, and we got married after dating for 4 years. We're now the proud parents to our 3 children, and we have a stable life. We're very comfortable, and few know exactly how much my husband has. He's very smart with his money and not only invests, but looks to our future and the future of each of our children. We both still work very hard, but the money means we are also very fortunate.
This is so Bruce Wayne coded.
I was thinking that. I'm like, this chick is married to Batman, and I know 100% this is 100%
I started smirking. I was like, oh, this is Batman. I was like,
Oh my god, I'm glad you all think
they were in the alleyway.
Batman.
That's crazy.
Mother's pearls just fall to the Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Bruce Wayne. I said, no, Brandon, don't do it. Don't do it. Just look away.
Oh Jesus.
Oh.
My family, parents and sister, is aware that my husband's parents are dead. They also know about the lawsuit and that the money was paid to family members. They have no idea how much my husband has, not my parents, and definitely not my sister. But they know and were told he'd give it all away to have his parents back, which is why I reacted strongly when my sister made the comment she did. We had family over for dinner. My sister mentioned wanting to bring her boyfriend for any future dinners, and everyone was talking about that. Then my sister mentioned wanting to go away with her boyfriend for the weekend and how they were saving up to go. She said it was a really big step because they were also talking about moving in with each other. My husband mentioned we had gone to the place they were talking about going to and that they'd have a great time. She said she'd hope so, but she wouldn't have the same kind of money he does. He told her we did nothing fancy there, which is 100% true. My parents wanted to know when they were thinking of moving in together. Things were going fine. Then my sister, out of nowhere, says to my husband that the least he could do was offer them money for the weekend away since he could afford it.
How you conclude that?
I shut her down and said she wasn't entitled to other people paying for her trip with her boyfriend. My sister responded that he could afford to send them for a month if he wanted to. My husband told her that that was a big ask, and she snapped at him and she said that he had no idea how lucky he was to be rich because she'd give anything to have that kind of money. The
Parents are just like anything.
The intensity of the comment enraged me, and I told my sister she needed to leave. I made sure to get her ass out of that door too, because I wasn't tolerating that BS. My sister had told me almost every day since then that I overreacted and throwing her out was over the top. I told her I don't want to hear anything but a sincere apology from her to my husband, and until that point, she can stay out of my house. My husband said I didn't need to stand by that and he doesn't want to come between us. I told him he wasn't coming between us, she was. Am I the asshole for my actions? And am I being too harsh here? I'm just thinking that comment is downright cruel and vicious when you consider my husband had to be orphaned to get that money.
Audacity. That's all I can think of. Yeah. One word, audacity. That's the only thing. I don't understand how people think that way.
Yeah.
You're not entitled to anybody's. I really wanted the husband to say though why he accumulated that wealth just to make him be like, oh, my bad.
You wouldn't have parents? You would do that to be to have this money?
Sacrifice your parents.
And then the parents really are just and then she like pulls up a butter knife and she's like, I would.
I imagine the good
Bruce Wayne. I know who you are.
I know you. I'm the Riddler.
Okay, so top comment. Absolutely not the asshole. Your sister is basically having a death wish for your parents for that kind of money.
God.
Despicable. Somebody else said agreed. She's only thinking about money in the moment. She said she'd give anything for that money.
Maybe she was for him. Like,
I actually do think some people believe that, like they don't care about that stuff. Like money is more important.
Because it's like, I get money is obviously a way to make your life, well, one, for some people, livable.
Yeah.
But then a comfortable life.
Right.
But once you have the money and you live comfortably, like I honestly think what makes life is the people that are in your life.
Yeah.
So imagining, for him having to give that up.
I sacrificed my parents for this.
And it must have been something horrible for people to give him that large amount of money. They're like, I'm sorry about this. We have to award you something.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, yeah,
and
it was preventable. Yeah.
So it couldn't have
Like
happened.
something against the city, and they're like, we didn't know the subway was going to jump tracks like that. It should always be on the tracks, and the way it came off,
We messed up.
that was, and I have to admit that's crazy that the subway came off the tracks into your parents, I guess.
Because
I'll be the first one to say, I'm
Squid
sorry.
Games was originally a game.
Yeah.
We didn't think they would do the same with Subway Surfer.
That was quick.
So
I
when they
like that
started
one.
filming and he jumped in front of the
Yeah.
train, we thought he'd get out of the
We
way.
thought it was going to be a thing.
So Netflix is going to have to pay you this due
They're
payout.
definitely
We
gonna
are
have to
very
pay.
sorry for this.
It was a documentary.
No, it was going to be a new show on Netflix.
Subway Surfer.
Yeah. Okay, so this next story is: would I be the asshole if I stopped taking my daughter in public?
What?
I know this title sounds bad, but hear me out.
Girl, are you kidding?
Hear me out.
I
Okay.
know this sounds
Hear
bad.
me out.
I, 44 male, have 4 kids, 11 male, 3 female, and a 10-month-old boy. I'm Blasian, who is more black. My partner is Japanese, and one of my girls is very light-skinned. I was at a store with 11 male, 3 female, and 3 female. We were shopping like normal, and my girls were asking for candy. I said no, and like a normal 3-year-old, they started crying and throwing a temper tantrum and were refusing to leave. So I picked them up and I started leaving the store. I'm a big guy, 6'7", 255 pounds, so I'm noticeable. I'm also deaf, so I did not hear the woman who yelled that I was kidnapping my own daughter. Before I knew it, I'm being punched by some guy, and my daughter is snatched from my hands. I was trying to figure out what was going on, and then the cop showed up. Before getting my statement or listening to my son, who is desperately trying to translate for me, I'm pinned to the ground and in handcuffs so tight I still have marks. It's been 5 days. I was arrested, shoved in the back of a cop car, while my kids were taken into custody. And this isn't the first time something like this has happened. I know it's extreme not to take my daughter in public unless there's someone who actually looks like her with me. But I'm so worried there's going to be one day I don't make it into those cuffs and my kids don't have a dad anymore.
Oh.
So would I be the asshole if I stopped taking my daughter out in public without my partner? And then there's a few edits.
Oh my.
That's so real.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry for preemptively judging because
Oh.
that's a sticky situation if you ask me. I don't think you're the asshole considering the climate. Considering the climate, dude. Cause it's already sketchy AF for black men who's 6'7". Does he look back?
255.
255.
255.
He said he looks more black than Asian.
So yeah.
Yeah.
He's blasting.
No, he's a nigga.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
People that are looking at him.
Well, I think it was Myra sent me an Instagram today, literally about this guy. He was videoing, and then you hear like a knock on the door. He looks at the door, and there's just this white baby, maybe like 1.5 years old, just like ah, and he's like opens the door, like, "Are you okay?" He's like, and the kid tries to come in. He's like, "No, no, no, no," and the kid runs around crying, and then he's like shows several reels. It's like 2 houses down, his neighbor's kid who just ran around just in a diaper, no shirt. And people in the comments were like, why didn't you do more? He's like, I'm an Asian man.
Yeah.
I don't, like, with this white baby, I'm not just gonna, what do you want me to do? I stayed with the kid until the parent came, but I'm like, I'm not grabbing the kid or taking him in my house. I don't know what's gonna happen as a minority to take this white baby. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what I would do if a white baby came on. I'm like,
There.
there, I need to call someone to be a witness to everything that's happening.
I've even seen videos on Reels where there was this kid that got lost. It was this black guy, and he was just like, I'm just gonna record for my safety, because it is so real. Like, people can just make assumptions, or like in this very situation where people assume that that's not his kid, and now all of a sudden I'm going through this traumatic experience where I'm locked in cuffs, thrown into a cop car. My kids have to see this, and me as a deaf man, I'm assuming he communicates via sign language. So now
he can't even do that.
I can't even communicate. I can't even communicate to my son or to whoever who is able to sign. So I'm just completely, I have nothing. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I can't make my case. I can't say anything. I'm just at will of everybody else around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also valid too, because, you know, thinking about the story even more, he said that his kid was actively trying to translate.
Yeah.
So the police came in with that aggression that this guy is potentially kidnapping, while the child is saying probably that's my dad or don't do it or something along that nature. But they're so hyper focused on the fact that someone saying that or
not
assuming,
looking like the child.
Yeah. Right. And then they're just going along with it. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. People in the comments, I'm just going to read his edits because he does, I guess, address the comments. But so he said, so I don't have to keep responding to the same suggestions in the comments. I will be pressing charges. I will be informing my father-in-law, who is the chief of police, and I will be getting matching outfits, bracelets, accessories, family shirts, or something like that. I will not be taking my daughter out in public alone until we get that stuff. Yeah, definitely frustrating that even has to be a workaround of we're matching or that's really family shirt, bracelets.
That's kind of terrible from like a reporting standpoint. If I'm a bystander, like you really have to be careful because obviously, especially if this happened in America, blended families exist everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I think unless it's some blaring sign, the child literally saying this not my dad. I don't know this man.
But kids will also say that
They will say that too.
They'll say that like that's clearly your dad. Like that ain't him. I don't know who this guy is.
But it's just so scary because I mean it's very plausible for you to just be minding your business, trying to take care of your kids, and then it could be a matter of life or death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like my kids throwing a tantrum, I'm carrying them to the car, and the next thing I know, I'm on the ground.
Yeah.
Trying to explain, hey, this is actually my kid. Oh my God.
I'm curious what you guys would do in the situation. Like, imagine this was a situation where you saw something, you're like, I actually do suspect something weird's happening. What do you do in that situation if you're like, I don't think that's their parent? Are you doing something or are you kind of stepping back because you are worried about the potential of you being wrong? Because I feel like it is a tough decision.
Yeah, because I think people are coming from the intention of trying to have good intentions of unintentionally having a bad assumption about somebody.
Yeah.
I think it's a good reminder that even like reporting something you think you're being a good citizen about can genuinely hurt people and negatively affect him. Because even though he's, okay now besides the cuff marks and he's pressing charges, like just the trauma of something like that's going to live on. He's like, I've already dealt with this before.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I would like report it, but I also have never been in this situation before. So I feel like I would definitely make mistakes. I would probably be like,
I wouldn't know what to do.
I've been in a reporting situation where I've had to like call the cops because I'm not sure what the hell is going on. But because I don't know what the hell is going on, I'm going to tell you, hey, I'm not sure, but this is what it looks like.
Right.
That's what, at least in that situation, that's what I did when I called the 911 operator. I'm like, hey, I'm not sure what the hell is going on up here, but this is what it looks like. And as a concerned citizen, I'm just going to let y'all know.
Tell y'all.
But I think bare minimum, I'm doing my due diligence is telling them, hey, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the hell is happening, but it looks weird.
Yeah. Especially if I'm assuming correctly from what OP was describing is maybe this woman literally thought he was walking out with a child and maybe was screaming, like freaking out, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely didn't help de-escalating the situation at all. Yeah. Because it's like a horrible situation in general.
It is.
Getting profiled like that, and then they don't listen to you.
Yeah.
But also on top of that, you being deaf and you're not necessarily able to communicate now.
That's the thing. I'm like, it's such a dire situation. I'm sorry OP had to go through it. I don't know what we do as innocent bystanders anymore. Because I'm like, I don't know if I'm escalating the issue or not. There's like a lot of the Karen talk is like some people are weaponizing the police. Like they know if they just say, like that woman who called the police on the guy in the park saying
The
like,
bird watcher.
Yeah. Like that kind of stuff. You're like, you know what could happen with the police, and it's like almost evil in the way you're doing because you know
sinister.
what the potential could happen. But then there's also legitimate situations where the police need to be called.
Yeah.
But as like a dumb guy who don't know anything, I'm like, dang, I don't know what that is.
No, I get that too, because then, especially like in a scenario like this, if it was like legit this scenario, like calling the police on another black man knowing the outcome is usually not good for black men.
But then also some black men be doing some stuff.
They be doing
the police should be here for that.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm gonna be so real. When it comes to like, I think in the same vein that it seems like a lot of cops have a prejudice against black individuals. The same way that they have that prejudice, it's the same way that I have the prejudice for like, if I'm seeing a black person doing some shit that's like suspicious, I'm just gonna assume that you're not doing anything suspicious.
100%.
Until I see the blaring flag that, you are doing something that's serious. I'm gonna assume that you're up to nothing. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
They're like shouting at someone and they're like, and you're like, oh, they're just like having a conversation.
I'm giving
like,
y'all the benefit of the doubt.
Money. Pull out a gun. They're like, you're like, oh, there's just like a nice light thing.
I think he's just trying to point to get his.
He's like, it's over there.
Trying to get his attention.
It's over there. I'm like, yeah, that ain't none of my business.
There's one phrase I gotta hear though. I got something for you. I know something's about to go down. I got something for you.
You do, actually. You probably do, yeah.
I'm pulling out.
I'm leaving.
Yo.
I do think, though, that I am grateful that this guy is in connection with the chief of police.
I'm glad he got connection.
Yeah,
because I honestly am scared that if that wasn't the situation, it might not have been resolved, you know, compared to where there can
pushed
be
under the rug.
some accountability.
Yeah.
Unless he's like, hey, don't say anything, man. That's my police. I don't want you to do anything. I'm the chief of police. You think this looks bad on me?
This looks bad on the department.
So, update. My father-in-law is pissed. We talked on the phone and I explained what happened, and he is pissed. He sent an email to the police I described and will be reprimanding them first thing in the morning. He said, I will not stand for this, and he's glad that I brought it to his attention. I told him not to mention me and the incident that caused the investigation. He said he's just going to say it's because of some reports. That way it's not obvious. He will send any evidence to help my case. Thank you to everyone who's commented with support. I'm trying to respond to every comment, but it's difficult. Clearing up a little confusion. My daughters are fraternal twins. They don't have the same skin tone. And then the top comment, I work for a law firm. Please contact a PI law firm and inquire about civil rights suit, as well as security issue suit with the store you were in. I'd also look into filing kidnapping charges against the person who removed your child from your arms. Please do not let any of this go. Do something about all of it. Fight for yourself.
I think it comes down to like the thought process people have when talking about interactions with police. You know, like black people say like they have the talk with their kids about how to interact with police in situations. Like, make sure your like hands are always in place and like you're speaking respectful. But there's other people who are saying like, why should I have to do any of that? Like, I'm a human being. I shouldn't have to do any of that.
Because your life is on the line.
Yeah, but there's people like, I shouldn't have to do that, so I actively won't do that. So I can see both sides where people are like, OP's like, well, I just want to be safe. I want to make sure my kids are safe. I want to make sure I'm safe. So I'm just going to avoid the situation. I'm going to take my daughters out of the situation. And that's similar to like, I'm doing things to, quote unquote, appease like whatever situation. Some people are like, well, no, I don't think you should have to do that. Even like, I know I shouldn't have to do this, but
It's
this
the
is what I have to
reality.
do to make sure we're good.
Yeah.
Even though it's not right that I have to do this, if I want to make sure that I'm alive and my kids are alive, unfortunately, this is the best way to do that.
Who's been detained around here? I was like, Maddie, what? Girl,
I
what
knew
the hell
Maddie
you
was a
went to?
thug. I called it.
Like,
I'm just
girl,
kidding.
you didn't let me know what happened. It's scary.
It is very scary.
Yeah.
I got detained because I was in one of Nebraska's sundown towns.
Which one?
It was Seward, surprisingly.
Mine
It's
was
a
in
college
Lincoln.
town.
Ooh.
I just had, because at the time Claudia was going to university, so I went to go see her, and I left late, maybe like 11:30, something like that.
Yeah.
Went to the gas station, and as I'm filling up, a cop car comes right behind me, parks behind me, gets out, asks me all these questions. What am I doing? Putting gas in my car. I ended up getting detained for like 30 minutes while they're running whatever, looking at whatever. And I'm like, that shit was so scary. Like, I'm like,
How old were you?
21, 22
yeah.
maybe. Terrifying.
Yeah, mine happened when I was 17, and there's this guy. He came around our neighborhood. He was like, "I'm going to help you kids go door to door. We sell stuff to like houses and stuff." And so we would do it in Omaha, but on the weekends we would go to Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I was doing it in Lincoln, and apparently I went to some state congressman's house, and they called the cops on me. The cops came in, and it was an hour that I was detained in the back of their cop car. Literally look out the window, there's Boy Scouts selling freaking popcorn the same way. And they're like, "Well, you don't have a license, so you need to, we're going to arrest you."
What? The cop, he asked me, he was like, "Have you been drinking tonight?" Like, I'm like, "No." He was like, why are you acting all jittery? Why are you acting all nervous? Because you're a fucking cop and I'm black.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
I wasn't detained, but I remember it was crazy. My friend Kevin came over. He's Hispanic, and we were out like downtown and stuff. We just got back, and he was driving an Impala. Like he had it souped up, had like a small tint on the window, but he parks in front of my house, and we're like sitting in his car. We literally start talking about God, like. That's where the conversation was going. It was something very productive, but we were just chilling in the car. And then I just happened to look up in the rearview mirror, and I'm like, that's a problem. I see the sheriff, lights everything, just pull up right, like I thought he was going to rear end us how fast he was going. Stops, gets out, walks to the car. I didn't see it, but there was another policeman in that sheriff car, comes on the other side, onto my door, and I'm like, whoa, what is like, are we what's happening? And they're like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, sitting in front of my house. It's right here. He's like, is this your house? And I was like,
What the fuck did I just say?
okay, yeah, it's my house. And he's like, so what are you doing? And he's talking to Kevin. He's like, I'm with him. He's in my car.
We're talking to each other.
And so they asked for both of our IDs, and then my dad came out, and he was pissed.
Yep.
Which I think he got so angry to the point, like, you know, that the whole talk thing kind of just went out the window. He's like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, this is my son and his friend. Like, you guys don't need to be doing all this. And they're like, well, we just got a call from the neighborhood that there's some suspicious activity happening in front of this house. He's like, it's my house. And yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
What made him leave?
They ran plates, all that. And they were like, well, we'll just leave you with a warning.
Oh, warnings.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
them trying to save face. They clearly knew they were wrong, and they're like, oh yeah.
And then they left.
Dude, I'm telling you, the cop stories, they will fucking stick with you forever. Because it literally is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's also frustrating to see the statistics of who had a cop story and who didn't on this podcast. You guys have these super traumatic stories, and I'm like, yeah, never been pulled over. It's like, oh well, yeah.
Meanwhile, this is a chick who broke into her friend's house when they were gone.
Okay, I was like 9.
Still, you're the one criminal we have here, and you're the only one who hasn't been detained.
Yeah, I should pay for my crimes.
You need to pay.
It's only right. We didn't do crimes in here, so we had to pay.
Exactly. Yeah. It's upsetting. And we're like, yeah, Nebraska's kind of cool. We're like, wait, wait.
Definitely problems with Nebraska.
We are a red state.
We are sadly a red state. Blue dots in a
Blue
red
dots.
state.
Blue
People.
dots.
Don't forget that.
So what happened to the cake discussion? Where did we land on?
Oh, I thought
We're going to eat a slice.
I thought
This is the
last story.
This
Yeah.
is the last
This is the last story? Okay.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There,
Get it in there, girl.
100K.
Hey! Nibbling with friends.
Just hit a
To 100K. 100K. Thanks, babes.
Sit back and relax while I read this last story. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my mother-in-law hold my baby after she told my husband to get a paternity test? I, 28 female, gave birth to my first child, a beautiful baby girl, 3 weeks ago. My husband, 30 male, and I have been over the moon, but his mother has been causing non-stop drama. She never liked me. From the start, she made snide comments about how I trapped her son, even though we've been happily married for 4 years. When I got pregnant, she constantly joked about how the baby might not be his. I brushed it off as her usual passive-aggressive behavior until I found out that she took it further. 2 days after I gave birth, my husband got a text from his mom saying, "You should take a DNA test. You never know these days." I was devastated when I saw it. My husband was furious and told her off, saying he had zero doubts about me and that her comments were disgusting. She tried to backtrack, saying she was just looking out for him. Now she wants to come over and meet the baby, but I told my husband that she will not be holding our daughter. If she wants to question whether my child is even her grandchild, then she doesn't get the privilege of bonding with her. My husband understands why I'm upset, but he thinks we should let her come just once so she doesn't play the victim with the rest of the family. Now she's crying to everyone, saying I'm keeping her granddaughter from her and that I'm punishing her over a harmless question. Some family members think I'm being dramatic and should be the bigger person, but why should I let someone who disrespected me and my child hold her like nothing happened? Am I the asshole for refusing to let her hold my baby? And then there's multiple updates.
No, you're not the asshole. You're not the asshole. I probably wouldn't either. I mean, to me, that's disrespectful.
It's very disrespectful.
Like,
Because what are you trying to say?
what are you trying to say?
I'm a cheater. And
I'm a cheat. I cheat on your kid, and I just sleep around with people. So yeah, there actually is a good chance that this isn't your son's child. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? I mean,
Just kidding. Maybe not, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think mother-in-laws can be so weird at times. I don't really understand how you could do that or say things like that to someone your child is married to. I just think the whole thing is so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And like, I think I kind of get what the husband is trying to do. He's trying to essentially keep the peace, so that the mom doesn't run around and quote unquote play the victim. But I feel like a lot of times in families, people can do things to other people and they do want to make it seem like, yeah, it's messed up, but just play nice so that we can keep up this facade or whatever. And I think actions do have consequences. You don't do anything in a vacuum. You wanted to go out and say, oh yeah, it was just a harmless, thing I said, which again, it was not, it's not harmless. So yeah, if she wanted to say that just how you thought it was okay to say that, it's going to be okay that you don't see your grandchild.
Right.
And you don't have to be mad at me because this is in direct response to your actions. Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck. It does.
It sucks to suck. Mm-hmm. You're not going to make me feel bad because I'm responding to what you said.
Right.
Yeah, no. Access denied.
Yeah, I think I would have actually probably said the same thing the husband said, but it wouldn't be strong enough to be like, if my wife was like, no, she can't, then I'm like, yeah, then it's fine. I wouldn't have had like a big thing. I'm like, yeah, we have to do it this one time.
Yeah.
But if she was like, nah, and I'm like, okay, now then. I wouldn't be like very gung-ho because it is totally disrespect. Even though I feel like as a son, it should have been my responsibility to shut this down sooner. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You might have, and maybe she could just be a person who's just like, I'm just going to keep saying blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I feel like there's still some level of like you not saying something that the mom kept going on.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember like, Mom, no. Like, this is the love of my life. We're married. We're having kids. Stop. And I feel like at least situations where I've seen that happen where people are like the mom's like, okay. Because they're not used to being spoken to. Like, hey, you need to stop. You're being disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It doesn't feel like maybe OP's husband did that. So that's what I would at least offer him. Like, hey, it's up to the son to really stop this behavior because OP has nothing. She's not going to be able to change anything. So maybe that could be a step forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the best course of action too is for him, if the mom's going to be like that gung-ho and playing victim, no. What you need to do is work on a course for forgiveness and also like reconciling the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because two things that are at least constant right now. The OP is always going to be the wife and the mom's always going to be the mom. It's going to be strained. Do you want it to be strained for the rest of your life because of this incident? Or is there a way that you can get the mom to see where OP's coming from and understand, okay, you know what you did is wrong. Let's work on the forgiveness or work on being sorry, or not even that, not work on being sorry. Yeah, just work on the path of reconciliation. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want the family to be all in their own islands, especially when it's his mom.
Mm.
And can we get to the root of what your beef is with my wife?
Yeah.
I wish I could say things got better, but mother-in-law made sure that didn't happen.
Of course. And they just know how to do it. Every single time.
Every time.
After my husband told her off, I thought she'd at least try to apologize, but instead she doubled down. She started calling my husband, telling him I was turning him against his own mother, and that I was overreacting to a simple question. She even pulled the victim act, crying to the rest of the family about how I was keeping her grandbaby away from her.
How can you have both sides of the token? How can you do that?
Well, when you're a professional victim, you can try and grasp at any angle.
That's so crazy. You know, that kid really might not be yours. Beware.
But that's my grandbaby.
That's my grandbaby. You can't keep him away from me.
See that baby.
I need to see him. I need to love on him. What?
Yeah, no, that's diabolical, especially you putting them back to back like that.
Okay.
Then things took a ridiculous turn. I found out from my sister-in-law that mother-in-law was actually trying to get a DNA test done behind our backs. Apparently, she was hoping to get a strand of my baby's hair or some spit to confirm the truth. When my sister-in-law told me, I was absolutely done. I told my husband that until she apologizes, not a fake, I'm sorry you're mad apology, but a real one, she is not welcome around me or my daughter. Thankfully, my husband backed me 100%. He told his mother that if she can't respect his child and his wife, then she doesn't deserve to be part of our lives. Mother-in-law lost it. She went full drama mode, telling everyone I was tearing the family apart and that she might never recover from this heartbreak. At this point, I don't even care. She disrespected me. She disrespected my marriage. She disrespected my child. Actions have consequences. So yeah, mother-in-law still hasn't met the baby. And unless she does some serious apologizing and self-reflection, she won't anytime soon. Am I the asshole? And then there's another update.
Dang.
There's no
The projection is so crazy. you're the one that's tearing this family apart. And don't have the what is it called?
Self-awareness?
Self-awareness, yes. Yeah. To see that, the call is coming from inside the house.
Definitely from inside the house.
Oh my God. God forbid I'm like that, just not self-aware. I can't.
There's no saving her, actually.
She's gone.
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
And if I'm in the family, I'm like, I'm like, the baby's so dope. Oh my God. He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
You want to meet him?
He's so cool.
He looks like your son.
Yeah, so much. I thought it was your son at first. I said, why are you so small? I said, how you get so small? He's so
turning
cool.
a boss baby.
Oh,
is that movie
if you
real?
Just meet him though. Oh, he's so good.
Whenever you meet him, whenever you get the chance. I know you're busy.
Everybody meets the baby but the mom.
But we did take this group picture. Yeah, we did take a group picture. Like, so we're gonna send it to you.
Get a load of this guy.
The baby's like,
The baby's so cool.
Baby's quick walking down. The baby's walking and dancing. It's so good.
I just feel bad for people who have like terrible in-laws because you're trapped in that. I feel like that's low-key worse than like baby mama, baby daddy drama. Having terrible in-laws.
Yeah.
Well, especially because you're like reminded of the fact that you're like, I have a great partner, but their family is terrible. And that's like 30-40% of my life. Okay, so update number 2. Well, I wish I could say things got better, but nope. My mother-in-law has somehow managed to make things worse. After I refused to let her hold my baby, she went on a full-blown smear campaign against me. She told extended family that I was controlling and keeping her granddaughter away out of spite. She conveniently left out the part where she accused me of cheating and demanded a DNA test.
They always forget the important parts every time.
The worst part? My husband is starting to waver. He still thinks what she did was disgusting, but now that some relatives are siding with her and saying I'm being too harsh, he's wondering if we should just let her see the baby once and move on. I told him point blank, she questioned our child's paternity. She disrespected me, and by extension, you and our daughter. If we let this slide, what's next?
Dang, she a thug, man.
Now he's torn. I can tell he wants to back me up.
She's like, buck up, man. Man, we ride right now. What you doing?
This is the most important part. You can't back out now.
How you gonna Oh my God.
You say you want to ride or die. This your time to ride. This your time to ride.
He's still on the titty for real. God damn.
Now he's torn. I can tell he wants to back me up, but he also doesn't want to be the bad guy in his family's eyes. I don't care about being the villain in mother-in-law's story, but I do care about my husband having my back. So now I'm wondering, am I fighting a losing battle here? Is this the hill I should die on? Because right now it feels like mother-in-law is winning by playing the victim, and I'm the one being treated like the unreasonable one.
I do think you are fighting a losing battle. If you lose a husband, you are fighting a losing battle. Because if you don't give up after that point, then it's going to affect your marriage. And that's just going to have negative consequences on your marriage, unfortunately. You need the kid of the partner, of the mom, to be on board because it's hard otherwise.
And that's exactly what you said earlier. If she doesn't have her husband, she's not going to change the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
It can only be done via the son.
Because either then you're like, we got to do this forever. Like, now you can't see the kid forever.
And I don't know if this was mentioned earlier, but basically what Sadia said of, when it comes to relationships, you have to be the mediator for your family and your partner.
Yeah.
It's not fair for them to kind of have to fight without you being there, because then I feel like people's feelings get hurt a lot easier because, you know, you grew up with them.
Yeah.
They raised you. So it's easy for you to be like, okay, this is how you need to go in. This is how you need to prepare for this. She didn't mean it that way. This is what she meant. Or even the same with the partner of like, she didn't mean to say that. You guys are coming off with, you know, like there needs to be a mediator there. And yeah, the fact that he's now wavering and potentially becoming like more biased of like, maybe we should just get this over with. It's not good.
Well, that's the thing. Like, some people are like very affected by how their family sees them, and they don't want to be seen as bad as in their family's eyes. So, like we were joking about, I'm like, I don't think he's like a punk for like wavering, because I feel like there's a pressure that some people just can't handle.
It's that family pressure.
Yeah, it's like a tough pressure. So you got to figure out what to do.
You
like
don't think he's a punk for wavering?
No, I don't think. I don't think he's a punk.
What is he then?
He's human.
That was a really good answer.
Yeah.
That was a good answer.
So Dee was about to get on you. Any other answer? But you said that, and she said, "Damn, okay." Said,
That was good.
Because I can see, it just seems like he does want to be there for his wife. And I think that's what he was trying to do, especially at the beginning. He was like, hey, like, I bet that was probably sounding how he is now. Like, that probably was hard for him to say that to his mom. Like, hey, enough. Enough.
And I think the thing is, too, he's probably just so used to the victim. Like, if his mom is truly a professional victim, this is not the first time he's interacted with it. So maybe it's a point so much to that she has that manipulation, the like manipulation clause just in him.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that he can really do about it. So when he was initially standing up for himself, it was him that was his moment to stand up. But after a while,
Like, that's all I got.
yeah, that's all I got. And then her claws just pulling back in. But then you add that on top of the family pressure from everybody else saying, dude, you're overreacting. So as much as the love from his wife could be one thing, he's probably got just a whole bunch of life that's already been lived of the same process just happening over and over and over again.
I agree. I think, okay, this is what I'll say.
Okay.
Like you said, as a kid, if his mom has this, I don't know, victim, she's able to manipulate him, then I think at some point as a kid or just growing up in that, you start to placate and try to just protect yourself. My mom, she's playing victim right now, so I'm just going to shut down and just agree with whatever she says, because that's how I survived this situation.
Right.
I totally understand that. When it becomes a problem is when you get married. Only because you shouldn't be clinging to your mother. You need to be clinging to your wife. If my mom, or anybody for that matter, disrespects not only me, she disrespects my wife, disrespects my child, calls my wife essentially an adulterer.
Yeah. Well, I think in your situation, it would be weird if your partner got pregnant and you're like,
that would
we didn't know about
that would literally be insane. That would be insane.
That would actually be a suspicious situation.
That would be a very suspicious situation. In this scenario, in this scenario, to me, that's crazy. To me, that's crazy. Because if you're like, oh, this is all I could do to stand up to my mom, and let's just mediate this so that everybody's happy in the end. You're a punk. You're a punk.
Yeah.
You're a punk for that, because your wife doesn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. Why does she deserve that? Why does she deserve to have her name smeared? Why does she deserve us? Oh my God. This mom is going on a smear campaign talking, oh, she's terrible. But she forgot to mention the most important part of the story. So she knows that she's wrong. Right. At least on some level, to some capacity, that she's wrong. Because otherwise, she would have mentioned it in the fucking story. So now, as a woman, I'm dealing with your stupid ass mom. I'm dealing with your punk ass that can't stand up for me. Yeah. When you're the person who needs to be in that spot right now. Because like you said, he is the only person that could really mediate this situation. Yeah. He's not going to listen to she's not going to listen to the daughter-in-law. The only person she's going to listen to is the son. So you being in that position, you knowing the emotional torment that this is putting on your wife, that your mom is saying this shit about your wife, you're telling me as a man, you're not going to stand in that place for her and be like, hey, you actually really need to stop this. Bare minimum for this to move forward, the mom truly does owe her an apology. Mm-hmm. If you want to see your grandchild somehow, even though that you believe that she's cheating and it's not
yours.
Could not be hers. The only way that you do that, if you really want to see your grandchild, is to acknowledge that even if you meant it or not, which you claim you didn't, but obviously you did, you need to apologize, even if it was a joke. Hey, I was joking, but I realized, hey, this actually really did hurt you.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to see my grandchild. How do we move forward from here?
Reconciliation.
That is reconciliation. That is a grown-up response. But for this husband to essentially roll over for his mom, completely leave his wife stranded.
Yeah.
To deal with this by herself emotionally and in just the situation, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You're a punk.
That's why I was saying earlier that they have to get on that path of reconciliation, because if they want this to continue to go, the relationship to continue to go, but then the mom's just always going to be there.
Yeah.
Rather than just skimming over it. And reconciliation can come in a lot of ways, with professional help, with you guys just sitting in the room with other witnesses and someone like putting the story out there for the full truth.
Mm-hmm.
But reconciliation doesn't just, I'm sorry, let's get over this. You get to the root of the problem in reconciliation. You get to actually, why are you saying these things about my wife? Why are the passive aggressive stuff happening? You get all that out the way. And then you build up from square one.
Yeah.
Because whether she says sorry for it or not, if she says sorry, cool. If that's how you want to go about it, if that's all you needed and you guys are able to paper over that, that's fine. But if you want to actually have something where it's like, okay, I can at least tolerate you around, you have to go through reconciling. You have to go through that process of actually going through all the icky stuff, the hard stuff, the stuff that she wouldn't even necessarily deem as worthy to talk about, because then it helps to understand. You guys get an understanding for each other, and then from there you can make your moves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, because I'm just hearing people like, oh yeah, they're twerking on the fence again. That's all I'm hearing in my head. I'm with SJ. I was saying I could understand where Sam was coming from, but I'm on the path of, if you even want to see the child, there has to be, you have to apologize, and there has to be reconciliation. But the son has to forefront that too, because he has relationship with both of them.
He has to facilitate it.
He doesn't have to facilitate it. He has to be there. Mm-hmm. Someone can facilitate it. He has to be there, so it's all laid out for everybody. All parties are going to be affected, so all parties need to be there to actively be a part of it. But I guess in a way, facilitate it. He has to start the process of it, or else nothing's going to happen.
Okay, so top comment. Y'all need to tell your side of the story to the family. Don't let mother-in-law be the only voice saying anything. Hell, send your first post to the family. Let mother-in-law's lies or omissions catch up to her. If they still complain, they don't need to be family. I think that was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I didn't add much because I am shutting down a little bit brain-wise, but
sugar. It's 11:43.
It's 12. It's 10:43.
Oh,
I mean, it's an hour, but it's almost 11.
It's 10:43.
It's almost 11.
Yeah.
No, I was supposed to go to. Y'all have wrecked everything. The calories out of the freaking water. I was supposed to go to the gym. Not anymore.
But anyway, we're out of here, guys. Thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers. Thank you, Sadia. We'll see you. Bye. Bye. Tonight's stories.
Leaving my boyfriend.
Feeling guilty.
Towing my car.
Assuming. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brandon,
Sam,
Raven.
Raven.
That's so Raven.
She cut us all off.
It's the future she can see.
She can see it.
I can actually see it. So,
yep, that's me.
Am I the asshole for not letting a neighbor borrow my tile saw because he assumed it belonged to my boyfriend?
Oh.
Yeah.
There's cooties on it.
What?
Cooties, and that's why.
I know we're like
I think it's because of the cooties. Okay.
Am I the asshole for not letting a neighbor borrow my tile saw because he assumed it belonged to my boyfriend? My boyfriend and I have a bit of an untraditional relationship. I, female, am the builder / fixer, etc. And my boyfriend isn't really good at that type of stuff. My garage is filled with tools that I have collected over the years, a lot of expensive tools. A young couple just bought the house across the street from us. The houses aren't too far apart, and I guess our new neighbors have seen into our garage when my boyfriend and I hang out in there. The husband came over to introduce himself, and he briefly nodded at me, yet he shook my boyfriend's hand and was friendly to him while introducing himself. It made me feel dismissed, to be honest, like I'm not his equal. He mentioned that they're having to retile the kitchen and do a bunch of other repairs, as the house was a bit of a fixer-upper. The elderly lady had lived there for 55 years before dying recently. He said that they were a bit broke after buying the house, and he's having to do the repairs himself and learn how to do a lot of this stuff. My boyfriend kind of just smiled and nodded his head because he hates DIY. He finally asked my boyfriend if he could borrow his tile saw and maybe a few other tools, and maybe my boyfriend could suggest some YouTube suggestions. He offered to give it back just like he borrowed it and said he'd buy him a case of beer for the trouble. This was the point where my boyfriend mentioned that all the tools in the garage belonged to me and that he had no clue how to fix or build anything. The guy was surprised, but he gave me like a half smile and he said, "Oh, I guess I should have asked you then. What do you say? Offer still stands." I was kind of annoyed. I told him that maybe another man in the neighborhood can help him, and I'm just a woman, so what do I know?
Right.
I was admittedly very snarky. My boyfriend kind of thinks I was needlessly an asshole to our new neighbor. I think the guy should have apologized for his incorrect assumption before asking me to borrow my tools. I hate when men assume my boyfriend does man stuff and I'm supposed to do women stuff. It happens occasionally. Which, by the way, who asks someone they don't even know to borrow a tile saw? Tile saws are not cheap, especially not the ones that I own. Am I the asshole? My boyfriend and I aren't really stressing over it, but I just wanted an unbiased opinion. And then there's edits and comments.
As a woman, I feel whatever, but I'm like, the assumption I feel like is fair because I don't know many women who do DIY projects themselves. So do I feel like he should have made the assumption? No, but I think any other neighbor would have assumed that they belong to the boyfriend as well. So I'm like, I think she was a little dramatic and a little sensitive about it.
Yeah, I feel like I've been in that situation where one of my exes had just bought a house and we were at Home Depot and she was buying stuff. And the guy looked at me and was like, "Hey, fixing up the house?" I was like, "I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. This is all her." And he's like, oh. And he like goes to help her instead, but he's like asking me, and I'm like, we both knew what it was. And I think we both laughed about it. But I think, unfortunately, it is just a thing in the world where people assume those kind of things. You don't have to let him use it. I don't mind you being petty in this situation, really. But making it a bigger deal than that, I think would be kind of crazy. But saying, "No, you don't need to use my tools," I'm fine with that. A little pettiness is nice.
At first I was like, maybe it is kind of being blown a little bit too much. But then I thought about it too. It's the whole fact that he was dismissing her too. Like the whole conversation. Like had it been like a back and forth between both parties, I could understand. But the fact that he was dismissing her throughout, and then once he was like, "Oh, you don't walk it." He didn't even walk it back, but he's like, okay, now egg on my face, you know?
But like,
same
seriously,
offer stands.
seriously, can I borrow the tile saw?
Yeah, seriously, can I borrow the tile?
I do need that.
And I mean, he sounds like a douche, especially like you said, like I don't think he was really trying to even have like small talk. It was kind of just, let's get to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like him not, engaging with her and him was just him, maybe just getting to the point. Hey, here's a 6-pack of beer. Can I use that over there and show me how to do it or show me some YouTube videos? He was getting straight to the point. So
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, go after what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're the asshole for that. I feel like I kind of get what Sam was more saying of it can be an offensive, like you can take that in an offensive way and then say you're snark about it. And then that doesn't mean that just because now he's talking to you means that you need to give him your tools. Like they go on to say a little bit more in the comments how much specifically a tile saw is. So just to let somebody who's completely green, completely new, just go and borrow it and expect for it to not be damaged or whatever. Like I can understand maybe a friend, but a completely different neighbor, one who you especially didn't get off on the right foot with.
Right.
It's totally understandable for you to be like, no. And also my boyfriend doesn't do that. I do that. So I would appreciate if you would ask maybe both of us.
Yeah. And you don't know if he's responsible for this old lady's death, because that still was a mystery to me.
That
she's like gone now and he has the house. That's weird.
And wants a tile saw.
Interesting.
I was like, why were you at the funeral? Because I didn't know you were going to buy the house.
Yeah.
And
It was
you
close
said
casting.
you didn't know her before. That's weird. I don't know.
Suspicious.
He's a murderer.
Wow.
I'm calling it.
So he did in fact get it.
Okay.
She's buried under the tiles.
Well, she's about to be.
She's about to be buried. He's like, I need a tile saw to do it.
Okay, so edit. So many people are saying, how did he disrespect you by making assumptions if it was just the assumption? If it was just the assumption, I probably would have been nicer, but the fact that he wouldn't even shake my hand and was barely looking at me made me feel like I wasn't even in the room. He was so friendly to my boyfriend, yet it was like I was invisible until he wanted to ask me for my tools. He was all like, it's so nice to meet you, and incredibly chummy to him, yet barely acknowledged my existence. And then she goes on to say, many of you are saying it might come across as flirting with another man's woman to be friendly to me. First off, I'm not his fucking property. Second of all, a handshake, a handshake and saying it's nice to meet you isn't exactly groping me and slapping my ass in front of my boyfriend.
Right.
It's just called basic manners, which many of you don't have apparently. Okay, top comment. I wouldn't lend a total stranger my expensive tools no matter the first impression, which was bad, not the asshole. And then they just used a quote that she could have said, I don't lend out my tools.
I just want to say she runs that household. Like, she is telling that man what to do, when to do, and how to do it. And you go, girl.
Yes.
I was going to say, I feel like some men like that.
Me first when you come in my house. You know, like she's
Definitely don't ignore me.
Even though that feeling, I know that feeling when you don't know if you're being treated differently than everybody else. Because I remember at work where we would have vendors come in and they would like give eye contact to all my coworkers and then not do anything to me. And at the time I was like, well, I'm younger than all my coworkers. I'm the only black one here. Like, I don't know what the reason is. There's a vibe. And then you feel crazy because you try to explain it to them. You're like, well, they're like, is it that big a deal? And I'm like, they didn't treat me like a human being basically compared to other people. So I can see her feeling like, dang, I just want to be acknowledged like everybody else, like my boyfriend and me, like we're two people, acknowledge us. I am going to be like petty towards you because you were petty towards me.
So I mean, he gave her I mean, if my husband's talking to the neighbor, I don't care.
Well, yeah, I don't really want to talk to
the neighbor comes to the door. Please don't introduce me. It's fine. We're cool. I don't even want them comfortable with trying to ask me to use anything. So the fact that she wanted that
that is bold on the first time meeting.
Yeah.
She said, I'm going to have to
running
refuse.
the household.
Like this next story.
Okay.
What?
I'm going to have to refuse like this next story. Brendan said, what? What literally just happened?
I just heard the noise and I was like, wait, who said something?
It was Madi.
I didn't hear it.
Am I the asshole for refusing to take my ex back but accepting my fiance's kids?
Wait, whoa.
My ex-husband, let's call him Frank, and I got married deeply in love. After a while, I found out I couldn't have children. Frank wanted kids, and he told me he didn't want to leave me, but he also wanted to have a child with someone else. I couldn't accept that. Later, I found out that he had gotten a woman from his workplace pregnant. He told me he didn't want to divorce me and he still wanted to be with me, but I couldn't stay. Despite his resistance, I divorced him and he married the mother of his child. This was 2 years ago. Now I'm with someone new. Let's call him Mark. Mark is kind, understanding, and has been a great support system for me after everything with Frank. I love him deeply. He has 2 sons from his previous marriage, ages 3 and 5. They stay with him every other weekend and see him regularly during the week. He's a great dad, and I admire that about him. Mark and I recently decided to get married, and I'm really happy about it. But ever since Frank found out, he's been trying to contact me. Today, he showed up outside my work. He accused me of being a hypocrite, accepting Mark's kids, but refusing to accept his. He said that all he ever wanted was to build a life with me and grow old together, and that I was being unfair for not accepting him under the same circumstances. Logically, I see why he thinks it's the same situation, but it doesn't feel the same. The thought of Frank and his child still hurts me, yet I don't feel the same way about Mark and his kids. Frank insists it's the same, but is it? Am I the asshole?
No,
Absolutely not.
that's so bold of him.
Manipulation.
Yeah, because the child was a result of cheating, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, Frank, let's okay. You missed a couple steps. You missed a couple of chapters. You cheated. You broke a vow.
Right.
That they're so different.
But wait, I'm sorry if I missed this earlier. Did it say that Frank ended up marrying the girl?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's married.
Frank's
So
wife's in the
she
car
was
while
more.
he's like,
She was more than a one night stand. Like it wasn't somebody you just
True.
had a fling with.
Yeah.
She got pregnant. Whatever. You married this woman.
she's hearing all this. She's like, are you really?
She drove the car there.
Yeah, she drove, and then Frank gets on the car. Take me back. Frank's wife's like this.
It's
quietly
different between us.
Okay. I did not think a man like this existed until I started watching Temptation Island, the newest season on Netflix.
Oh,
There is a
girl,
man
talk
on
about
there.
it.
Do you watch reality TV?
A little.
There is a man on. Have you heard of the show Temptation Island?
I've seen a few.
Okay, you
episodes
saw a few seasons before, or just this season?
before.
Yeah,
I see this season.
the season before were really good, but this season, every single couple has a cheater in it, and they're going on an island where they're going to be separated from their partner and tempted, and it doesn't go well for them. It goes well for the producers. It goes well for us, but it doesn't go well for the partners.
Right.
It goes exactly how you think it was gonna go.
And there is a man on this show who literally cheats, and then he's like, she'll forgive me. I know she will. And it was really upsetting to see because it was like, how dare you like do that, ruin your partner's trust, like break this person down, and then be like, it'll be fine because she'll forgive me. And then they meet up again, and spoiler, he whines and she's like, I can't be with you. And then they keep rolling, and I'm like, why do they keep rolling? And then they keep talking, and he's like, please, like I will work on who I am or whatever. And she's like, okay, I think I can stay with you. And he like grabs her, and he was like, thank you so much. The way that I was so frustrated because it's like he knew he was gonna get away with it.
Because he's gotten away with it before.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
There was never trust rebuilt. So, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, number one, I think a woman's intuition is real.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, she knows. Like, she knew when he went over, what do they call whatever they go to be tempted?
They're in their own villa when they're separated.
She knew that he was going to fuck up.
Yeah.
And she was ready to take him when he came back. You know, it sounds good to be like, I'm not taking you back. You've done this too many times. But what's one more time if you're already doing it? And that's, I think, what he thought.
And
men
men
he knew
know. Men know. We know, like, yeah, she's still in it. She's not going to. And then we know when they're like, it switches, and you're like, oh no, she's actually, it's over actually.
And the crazy thing is, this guy was being like, we met at church. I want a godly woman. And I don't want to ruin too much of it because it's so good. I think you should watch it, Sam.
I'm never watching it.
You're never gonna watch it?
It's not enough love for me.
He has a threesome. That's never been heard of. That's never happened on the island.
The cheating was a three. Oh, he had a threesome with people on the island.
Well, maybe there was a threesome, but
it has happened.
it hasn't happened in a long time. These two girls were basically, because he came on the show being like, I'm a godly man, but I love sex. Like, I'm a sexual being. She's not sexual. And I think if I were to have threesomes, like, outside the thing, like, it would be fine. But she doesn't want to do it. So I'm going to come here to be tempted so I can, like, really work on myself. It's like, it didn't make sense. But then
he was trying to get sex.
It made sense to him.
Yeah, these two girls were like, okay, well, we're going to see if you're really about it. And he was like, he basically pulled his penis out. And he's like, let's go to the bathroom. Yeah, they played the noises and...
Well, he might as well. If he knew she was going to take you back, it counts. Like, it's all one.
It's one incident.
It happened one.
But I say that to say all of that because I'm surprised that her outlet is like, it is kind of the same when I don't think it is. Like, OP.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's not the same, OP.
She's like saying these two things are similar, but it's like Brandon said, it was, and they go on and say in the comments, it's like, top comment, they quote her, logically, I see why he thinks it's the same situation. And they say, I mean, no, it's not remotely the same situation. And somebody else says this, the first situation wasn't about not accepting his child. It was about infidelity and betrayal. In her current relationship, it seems like he's loyal and he has not stepped outside of their relationship. In fact, X continues to show that he is disloyal by trying to get married with someone when he is already married.
Right.
Dude needs counseling.
Hey, that's the love of his life, though, man.
I'm mad that now I imagine in my head she is in the driver's seat and the window is down.
But I also think like situations like this happen when you marry prematurely. And I don't think it's fair to the woman you marry. If you know that you're not 110% in love with her, you're in love with somebody else, but you just can't be with that person. So therefore you marry this person and then, oh, so-and-so just got single, so bye.
Right.
Like going out to play basketball for her heart. So I just, I think we need to stop marrying prematurely.
Yeah, because it did seem quick.
Like, why'd you marry the office lady? Just because you knocked her up? Because now she's out in the car waiting for you while you're begging for your ex-wife back.
Yeah. Should we do an act out to this?
Yeah.
Actually, I want to be the girl you want.
Okay, you want to be OP. Okay, do you want to be Frank?
I'll be Frank.
I want to be the woman in the car. So you'll be Mark. Okay.
Who's Mark? Oh, the new guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Raven, this is your old guy.
Oh
this is your
gosh.
old guy, and this is your new guy.
Can we were doing an act out? I'm
Old
so
guy, new guy.
excited.
Okay.
Never do.
So how long are you gonna be when you get in there?
I'm just gonna play it by ear. Hopefully she just accepts me right away, and then
I hope not.
and then I'll quickly get divorced from you, and then I'll get back with her again. So that's what I'm hoping for. But I love you.
Well, I just hope that you have this conversation and hopefully you get it out of your system, and then you can come back to the family. Because
I don't know if I'm going to get it out of my system. This is you do not know what this chick was like. I love this woman.
Well, that's really horrible to hear.
I'm sorry. Not really. I just love you less than her. So,
Okay.
Step up.
No,
Okay.
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. Stand up for yourself.
But I will wait outside.
Yeah, that's a first. Okay. Now heading out. Do. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
Hello? Who are you?
Hey, just looking for my wife.
Did he just say wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
heard that
boo,
too, right?
how you doing, girl?
Boo.
Yeah, it's me, Frank. It's your man.
You know him?
I can't say that I do.
Don't act like you don't know me. It's Frank. Frankie baby.
Ooh, Frankie baby.
Frankie,
Yeah.
Well, I'm Mark
Who
S.
the hell are you?
I'm Mark S, the man of this house.
Okay.
And that's my wife, so I don't know who you think you're talking to.
I just came to get my wife because we had a little
Can you
hiatus.
stop saying my wife?
We had a
I
hiatus.
actually
wife.
don't know who you are.
I'm
You
your
know
wife.
Exactly who
Who
I
is
am.
that in the car?
His
that in the
wife.
car?
Don't even worry about her. She's just like,
So that's your wife.
Yes.
she's just the mother of my children. I guess we did.
We're legally married.
Legally, we got married. We went to a
Legally.
ceremony, and I guess it was real.
Does he
And
need
our
a
family
tranquilizer?
came.
But my heart was never with her. My heart was with you, OP.
Who are you?
I don't know who you are. I'm sorry.
Now you're trying to be fake, girl. So, what I'm trying to say is we were like together for a long time, Mark, because I guess you didn't know about this. We were together for a long time. It was like everything.
Mark, don't listen to
him. It was
him.
walks on the beach.
Mark,
you know
I don't
what
know
I'm saying?
who
We
this
did
is.
hammocks together. It was love, love, love. And then I got another woman pregnant.
Huh? Say it again.
I got another woman pregnant.
You got me pregnant.
I got that.
You got her
That's
pregnant.
the other woman out there?
That's her. Also, now you remember. It seems like now you remember a little
No,
bit.
no, no. I'm just trying to put the pieces
Okay,
of the
so-
puzzle together.
I'm sorry to say, I think we were, having the affair. I would call it an affair because
Why
I think
are
you were
here?
together
I
at
told you
that
to wait
point.
in the car.
Yeah, this is
I just wanted to come out because I have some sandwiches. I didn't know if anybody wanted
Actually,
some
thanks, yeah,
sandwiches.
I would
It's a
love it. Thank you,
PB&J.
babe.
I have
I
a
love
peanut butter and
Can I get
banana.
one?
Peanut
Yeah.
butter and banana.
I want you guys out of my house. Why are we?
I'm gonna step
We
outside
have
your
a
house.
conversation.
I don't know who you guys are. I want you gone. Mark, please ask them to leave.
Fire, right?
Wait, hold on. I'm just enjoying the sandwich real quick. Hold on.
Are you serious?
This is crazy.
She makes really good
Y'all do need to
sandwiches.
get out, but this is a good sandwich.
It's delicious.
It's just interesting because it's like I thought you two were married or dating like 2 years ago.
So
Oh no, we got married 2 years ago.
You don't
but
remember?
we started our relationship when you two were. She doesn't want to acknowledge you. I don't
She
know.
will not ignore, and I'm hoping like this
So now
story
I'm wondering,
like helps trigger
is this
her
actually
memory.
the woman that you were with, or
No,
Almost positive.
no.
Now I'm actually not.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
I think you guys have the wrong house.
I think we do. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
wait, can I get another sandwich before y'all
Yes,
leave?
I do have a sandwich
The
here.
banana.
Mark.
I don't have any more. This is tuna, but it's good. Okay.
No, we're good.
You gotta try the tuna.
Listen,
That was
Mark,
egg
you
on
are
my
on the
face.
couch
Try the
today.
tuna.
I
Get in the
am.
house.
What do you mean? They offered us sandwiches and a good story. I think they went to the wrong house. Like, there's 3 Marks on this neighborhood. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did
We're not looking for a Mark. We're looking for an
her.
OP.
Yeah, we're looking for OP. And
Okay,
your name's
so-
OP, right?
No.
Interesting. Interesting. Let me call it.
What about this picture of you two together? What about that?
What is actually happening?
You don't
That's
see
not
that?
you. Is that
No.
not her? Is that not OP?
Mark, tell them that's not me. Mark,
Sorry.
tell them that's
The
not me.
cataracts. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta.
What did you move on to? He got cataracts. How old is he?
Tell them that's not me, Mark. Tell them that's not
so
me,
her.
Mark.
It's not even funny. I'm looking it's like a mirror image.
They look
Nah,
alike.
it can't be
She's
her.
wearing the same shirt in the
You're
picture.
not making this any easier. You're literally wearing the same outfit. Are we a cartoon here? What is this? A
Mark,
visual?
just tell them
Okay.
that's not me.
That's not her.
Listen,
That's not her.
I think this is the best case scenario. She doesn't want anything to do with you.
I just want to say, I heard that Mark, you have kids, right?
Yeah.
Got a couple of kids. The only reason she broke up with me was because I had a kid.
Because you were
That,
cheating.
no, it was because
Okay.
I had a kid that wasn't hers, and she was like mad about that. But
it
you
was
have
like-
kids that's not hers, and she's like, okay.
But okay, let's walk this back. When was the kid that you had?
I don't think that's important.
Like
to the
when?
story.
It is.
I don't think that actually
Just track
matters.
with me. Track with me. Track
Okay,
with me,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So I had the kid
With me, when
with her.
with her.
those
with
two
her.
were together.
You sure you don't have another
actually,
sandwich?
were we together?
I have
Were
egg.
we
You don't want
together
egg. You
at that
literally threw
point?
egg in my face.
We've never been together.
I don't know. I don't actually know
Can I
if we
see that
were
picture
together at that point.
Yeah, just don't delete it.
Yeah.
Don't
only one I
delete
have.
it. If you have a picture of me in your phone, I need to delete it.
Well, yeah, some of your Facebook, your public Facebook profile.
And I got tons of pictures of you in my phone.
Why did you delete it?
Oh,
and
no.
you deleted it from the backup. Oh, you have it. Okay.
That's the love of my life.
He's got it. Oh, that's his background.
Your
That is
life.
his,
Are
that's
you
his background.
crazy?
She's
so.
still my wallpaper.
And that's when they were
Really? Yeah, I
together.
love
That's
her.
like
Poor girl sitting
you
here.
can't see.
Okay.
This poor girl sitting here, you said, is the mother of your child and your
Yes.
wife. Why
She's
are you
a
guys
wonderful
here?
mother. She
'Cause-
makes wonderful sandwiches too.
because
Why
my
are you
phone
guys here?
background, phone background is him and our son. So it's my pride and joy.
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, like, if y'all were together, allegedly, the pictures
Yes, I think
still
we-
don't add up to me.
I think you know the picture.
yeah, they don't-
I think you saw the picture, and I think you know. But
don't-
you
they
okay?
don't add up.
Okay.
Mark,
I don't want to blow up
Yeah,
your spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but those sandwiches, I'm just trying to understand, why would you leave those sandwiches? She don't cook sandwiches. She don't make nothing.
Why are you talking about OP like that? I don't even know OP like that, but
She's making.
So you're saying she's not worth it?
No, she is.
You wanna
No,
swap
she is.
wives?
She's a
You
businesswoman.
can have her, and I can
No.
swap with her.
That's
I
not what I'm
don't
saying.
belong
That's not
in
how
the
that
kitchen. I don't belong in the kitchen.
I don't need
and also that's not how
sandwiches.
that works. You don't just swap us. Because even though you treat me like crap, I choose to be here. So that doesn't really work.
Okay.
And she's choosing to make them sandwiches.
She is choosing to make
Not anymore.
Fire.
Are you done with the sandwiches?
Done.
Then I need you back because that's the only thing I was staying with her.
She's a
Back,
And also
you
because she's
never
the mother of
had
my
me.
children. She's the mother of my children.
She's a businesswoman. She's driven.
Who is?
Why are you trying
OP.
to give up your new wife? I thought you guys had a good relationship.
trying to
From
convince
Facebook, you
her
guys
me
had a
to take
perfect
her?
relationship.
I'm not trying to convince you to take her. I'm just saying you messed up. That's all
Yes,
I'm
you
saying.
did.
Oh.
But at the same
Tell
time,
her.
And you said that we were together and now I messed up. Oh, now the truth comes out.
Listen, I don't know who you are. I'm not taking you back.
How would you take me back if you don't know who I am?
Because I don't know who you are, so why would I take
Wait,
you
okay,
back?
okay,
And
wait.
also,
Okay, wait.
if I were to take you back, even though I never had you, I would still have to deal with your wife and kid.
You ain't got to worry about that. I'll divorce her so quick. I'll divorce her so quick. It'll be
Quick huddle.
over in a
That's hurtful.
second.
One second,
That's really
1 second.
hurtful.
Fuck. I think they're catching on that you're lying. We got to work on the lies because it's like you're snowballing it to the point where you can't
I
keep
told
up.
you to close the door
I tried.
and make them leave a long
This whole time
ago.
it was that easy. You guys just closed the door on us.
It was easy. Mark easily could
We're
have
not
just closed
even.
the door.
The
and
door
we're
frame
just-
is right here. We're not
outside.
in. Yeah.
Excuse me, this is
Yeah,
A&B
A&B
conversation.
conversation.
Oh, sorry.
Team huddle. Team huddle.
Sorry.
You're not in the team.
I
thought you were in the
Why don't
team.
y'all huddle?
No.
Anyway, yeah, like we gotta do something.
This is our house, Mark.
Can we get like another sandwich out of her though? Because they work.
I'm not eating her fucking sandwiches. If you want her fucking sandwich, just go be with her, Mark.
I'm
Go
not
be with
saying
her.
that.
Okay.
I'm not saying all that.
So you decide now.
Just feel
Me
like
or the sandwiches?
Probably tried the sandwich, I think.
I think it would be cool to try. I'll close the door. Let me close the door. Just okay, guys. This has been real.
I'll be back tomorrow. So
You
I guess,
won't?
Yeah.
I hope you find the right
House.
OP.
I did find you. Picture right here.
Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and close the door. If
Okay.
you could just.
And I just want to keep my foot here for a second. I do want a divorce because I can't have 3 people shitting on me this whole time because it really shows how horrible you've been treating me this whole time. So just 1 second.
Why do they have to know?
Yeah, what?
Because they're treating me horribly too.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I just
they-
want you guys to know.
Actually,
the next
unprovoked.
time
I don't know why
you guys
y'all
are,
treat
you're
me
talking
like,
about it, but
if
you
I
don't
could
even
just
want to eat my
scoot your foot,
sandwich. It's
just-
good.
I'm the bad guy here, and you guys were really
scoot
assholes.
your foot
in
here.
this
It's,
situation.
and you know,
Why did y'all treat her bad?
okay, they closed the
Let me
door,
lock
but
the door.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say this. I want your ring actually, so I'm gonna pawn both.
Wait, what?
You're not getting my ring. I want your ring. This is my
I
car.
didn't even do anything.
Find your way back home.
Oh my gosh, I barely did anything.
You suck, Frank.
Yeah, you do suck,
You're
Frank.
the asshole, Frank.
She does know me.
And scene.
Oh, that was
man.
good.
The actors are back, baby. Oh, that's good.
I had to leave my boyfriend. Like
So
this
many
next
plot
story.
twists.
So many. They just keep going. They just keep going.
That was fun.
They're catching on.
She was letting too many things slip. You were letting too many. You're like,
That made me
I don't know
laugh.
you, but I never. What'd you say?
I
You
never
like,
want to be with you.
never want to be with you again.
He's got a point. How can you know somebody and never want to be with them again?
Okay, so this next story is: am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend after finding a woman in our bed?
After what?
It's a prank, bro.
After finding a woman in our bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it was a prank, don't do that.
Even if it, yeah, well, you're just ruining trust at that point.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend after finding a woman in our bed? So I, 26 female, am going on a trip to London with my sister today. I've been staying with her since yesterday because she lives close to the airport. I realized I forgot my passport at my apartment where my boyfriend, 27 male, and I live together, and I had to go back and get it, so I did. I texted him this morning to let him know I was coming back to get my passport, but he didn't respond, and when I got there, he looked really antsy and suspicious. I went into our bedroom and I found a woman I didn't recognize lying on our bed, fully clothed, and I just went on autopilot, grabbed my passport, and told him we're over and left. Now my boyfriend is blowing up my phone saying that the girl is his longtime friend and that she's a lesbian who just needed a place to crash for the night. I don't believe him because he never mentioned anything about her staying over while I was gone, and this whole situation feels off. He's saying I'm making a huge mistake and that he's telling the truth, but honestly, I'm just really hurt and confused. He's begging for me to hear him out and he's apologizing, but this whole situation is not right. So am I the asshole for leaving him? Should I believe his explanation or is my gut telling me the truth? We just signed the lease 2 months ago and I'm literally leaving the country today. So it's a horrible and stressful situation. And then there's comments.
Oh, they live together.
That's tough. Because if he is telling the truth, that's tough. But at the same time, I think it's always on the person that's in that situation to communicate it regardless. And him not communicating that, if it was true, if it really was like strictly platonic and he's just like, you still have to communicate that. And even ask permission. If they're sleeping on your bed. Yeah, no, he's lying.
Suspicious.
I was about to say, I was going to say the whole, just communicate so it doesn't look bad, but you would have to ask permission for someone to sleep on the bed too.
Right.
And you've
never met this person before. You've never heard of this person before.
And it happened to be when you were going out of the country.
When you were gone.
And never mind. Nope, forget that.
Yeah.
No,
Honestly,
you're cooked.
I don't know how you guys feel about people on your bed, but I'm an adult. I do adult things in my bed. So I feel like for a random person to want to lay in my bed is number one, awkward and disrespectful. Like, this is the place I lay my, where I lay my head and where I do things. So I think that itself, whether it's a friend or not, I still think you allowing them to lay on the bed versus a couch, chair, air mattress. If that's your friend and you knew they were coming, needed a place to lay their head, then you need to figure out a sleeping arrangement for them that does not include the bed I sleep in every night. So I think regardless, them laying on the bed was inappropriate.
It's definitely a personal place. I don't think you're the asshole. Like Raven said, the story before, you should trust your gut. And I think the story he's telling you is just to get back with you. I think it was pretty cut and dry. You came in and you're like, oh, okay. You got dressed pretty fast. But anyway, the fact that she's fully clothed, just laying on the bed. If you're fully clothed and you're trying to get out of it and stop making it awkward, you would still choose to lay on the bed. You're like, we're just friends. It's not weird. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it could have also been like she wanted him to get caught. That's why she stayed there versus like if you hear someone at the door, it's not him. Get the fuck up out the bed, hide in the closet, anything. You know what I mean? Like go to the couch. Like the fact that you're still laying on the bed when you heard the door opening, not knowing who it was. This is not your house. This is not your man.
Yeah.
That's awkward too. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe she wanted him all to herself.
She's lesbian.
Allegedly.
I thought you were American.
Yeah, because the gray area to me, because I thought they didn't live together. I thought it was just his apartment and she had left something there. And I'm like, okay, there's kind of a gray area, even though even in a relationship, I probably still would tell my partner, I'm like, oh, this is like in passing, like, oh yeah, my friend's staying over, something like that. But if they live together, then it's a whole thing. You definitely should tell someone when someone's in your house. And we had a story about that. Was it on the live? Where the guy, the girlfriend wanted her friend to stay in their bed, like they were going to sleep in the bed together.
Oh yeah, it was two girls.
And he was in the military, and so he was gone. And she asked him, he was like, "No, I don't want anyone sleeping in our bed."
Same reason. He was like,
"Yeah,
we that's literally our personal." He was talking about the bedroom in general. He was like, "I'd really prefer if nobody in general came in the bedroom,
right?
Because that's our personal place and it's just for us." But he was like, "Definitely the bed." He tried to. He was like, "I sleep naked in that bed, so I don't want her in that bed."
Right.
But
and she shouldn't want to be in there.
Yeah,
but at least that his girlfriend had the thing of asking first. Like she at least even said it out. So you're already being suspicious. You didn't ask that to stay in your bed, and now she's just there.
And it's a random person.
I do want to ask, to be gone.
What's your gray area for this situation? Because it's still a woman sleeping in his bed.
Well, like if I'm dating someone, I don't think it's not for me because I don't think it's what happened to me. But if I'm dating someone and I have my own house and someone comes in my house to stay, a friend of mine, and for some reason they sleep in my bed, I think I could say, hey, this was my lesbian friend who needed a place to crash and stayed in my bed, and it not be a thing because it's not a shared space. It's not your bed. The thing you're worried about is our relationship. Did I break our relationship? And I'm like, I didn't break that. Mm-hmm. But this is different when you're sharing the same space. You both have the same space. Then I'm like, you could be breaking our relationship, but you are breaking our space because this is mine, me and your space. So that's different to me. That's why there's a gray area where it's just a relationship versus our space plus the relationship.
I feel like the only thing I push back on that is if you're saying it's not a shared space, but it's like maybe a temporary shared space if just when you guys are together. But then it's like you still allow like your one other friend to have that shared space. Like, are you sleeping in the bed as well, or because
during that? No, I'm not sleeping in the bed.
Like if you give them the bed.
Oh,
you would take the couch.
Yeah, I would take the couch.
Yeah.
Even though in this, if it's me, Sam, I'm like, if it's Sam, you're not staying in my bed for no reason like that. When I have a perfectly good couch, but yeah.
Because I feel like that's just like, I know you're not saying in your situation, but like with the gray area for yourself.
Think you could, if it was my part, you could potentially say that and it could be a believable thing. Or that there could be a conversation had. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not knocking a woman's intuition either. If you come in and you're like, it just don't feel right mm-hmm. and I'm done, that's totally up to you. But for me, the real thing broken is that we shared this space and you broke that. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to be in a relationship together, if we're like trying to do something serious, then if you can't even tell me that, then like, why would I want to go further in this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in general, it's really fishy. So top comment, not the asshole. Your boyfriend never mentioned her because it's convenient for him to use that as an excuse when there's a person of opposite sex lying in his bed. If she needed a place to crash, why his bed and not the couch?
Yeah.
He knows he has a girlfriend and it's okay for someone else to share a bed with him without giving you a heads up first. Am I the asshole for not feeling guilty about my husband's unhappiness?
No.
I have a feeling we had a story like this, but it was like job wise.
This story is interesting. I don't think we usually have stories like this.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Fun.
Okay, let's do it.
Am I the asshole for not feeling guilty about my husband's unhappiness? My husband, 43 male, and I, 37 female, have been together for 5 years. I have a child, 9 male, from a previous relationship who lives with us. I'm currently 7 weeks pregnant. This pregnancy has been discussed, planned, and desired for a while. Or so I thought. For the past few weeks, my husband's behavior has become unbearable. At best, he doesn't speak to me. At worst, he only opens his mouth to criticize, berate, or lecture me. He always had a temper and could be a pain in the ass once in a while, but he had always acknowledged this flaw and asked for forgiveness when he'd been out of line. But now it's been 24/7 and he doesn't seem to care. He says he can't help it because he's unhappy with his life. He works too much, spends all of his money on our home, doesn't have time for hobbies and social outings. He resents me for having a much more balanced life. I feel for him, but I can't help not feeling guilty about the situation. I have decided years ago, after having my son, to prioritize my quality of life above my ambition. I make decent money, albeit 20% less than my husband, and I use my spare time to exercise, go out with my friends, share activities with my son, and so on. Before my husband and I moved in together, I had a lower standard of living than the one I have today, but I was satisfied with it. My husband and I have made some financial decisions, which he strongly pushed for, that make us dependent on his income. He is clearly overworked and he chooses to spend his free time doing home renovations, which we could pay for if he were less hurried and waited for us to have more savings. He also never goes out to see his friends or does anything outside the house. I suggested therapy, alone and together. He refused. Am I the asshole for not feeling guilty? I'm also considering abortion since I can't picture how a baby will make the situation better.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought they had a kid and they're going to kill the kid. Oh my God. She's really serious about this.
Oh,
geez.
That's tough because I feel like you can't, as much as you try to make somebody happy, they can't be happy unless, it's on themselves to be happy,
Right.
regardless of what you tried to do or whatever. And what sucks is like, we planned this baby and now we're here and this is how you want to behave. So it seems like he's stressed because of the baby, because now he's like, okay, more financial responsibility that's placed on me, which she said they made that agreement a while ago that, you know, they would be dependent on his income. And it's like, I already don't have time to do what I want to do with my friends. And then the baby's more time and all of that stuff. And she's like, shit, well, my life is good. I don't know why you're mad. But, you know, like, whatever. I feel like she, just from hearing the story, I feel like she's done stuff to try to include him or make him feel, just like she said, you could not do the renovations in the house and that would free up some of your time, but you're choosing to do them. So I feel like she's not the asshole. She's tried, and he sounds like he's just a little stubborn and don't want to take the help or the advice. And I don't know. I don't want to tell somebody to abort their baby, but maybe just pack and leave.
Yeah, I agree. I think I feel like the same thing. I feel the same sentiment of like, you know, he is responsible for his own feelings. It sucks because it seems like maybe he feels like he's like stuck in that situation now, which I wonder if that can still be changed when they talk about like their current lifestyle and how it really is dependent on how much he works and stuff like that. But even maybe being able to change things like you mentioned, the home renovations. But yeah, bringing a baby into it is only going to make it harder.
Yeah.
I get where she's coming from, where she was like, I had a kid before. I understand how much, you know, they change your lives and you need to not only plan for them, but plan for fun outside of them and fun outside of your life and stuff, and not really focus as much on ambition. So yeah, I think it's a matter of whenever he's ready to do that. I think top comment covers it pretty well, unless you guys wanted to say something before that, or should I read top comment first?
Well, it just reminds me of those TikToks of when people are like, oh, I'm so depressed, like my life sucks. And they're like, well, do you exercise now? Do you see your friends now? Do you do all these things? And you're like, they're just saying no. You're like, well, you do nothing that makes you happy. And you're wondering why you feel this way, but you don't want to do things to help you, like try to change it for the better. And I feel like this is what the husband's like. He's like, I just feel bad. It sucks. And she's like, well, do this, go to therapy, try this. He's like, no. And you're like, well, then I don't feel guilty. I don't feel sorry for you if you're not making the steps to change your own, like your outlook for your own life for the better. So yeah, I don't think you're the asshole for not feeling guilty.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sam too. Just you can't control what other people are going to feel about life. So you don't have to put that on yourself to feel guilty. Like, you feeling guilty is not going to help him either, even if you want to.
The only thing that's tough with that though is if you have a life partner that is like that, and then you're bringing a baby in.
Yeah.
Because then it just makes your life so much harder, because you're probably going to have to do a lot of the raising when it comes to the baby if they're already, like top comment says, burnt out.
Yeah. But I think another thing too, it seems like, okay, assumptions. I know we're not supposed to assume for agreements, but based on it, it seems as though he's inexperienced with a lot of things, emotional intelligence, the ability to say yes to help, because him refusing the therapy, I want to say it's probably one of those things where the pride's probably just got to him so much. You know, he's taking care of the family, and now that he's in a position where the pressure's starting to get a lot tighter, him going to therapy will make him be like, oh, like I feel like I'm failing because I don't have enough to be like to do this on my own. So I'm wondering if he just doesn't have the resources to accept that yes, or, you know. But then also, you know, OP, she said she had a 9-year-old, so she's been through the tightness and the pressure of having a child and having to rearrange her life. He hasn't. So I'm wondering if it's just also the inexperience and the pressures like really, really weighing on him. And that's causing him to not only seclude himself from what he likes to do, but also seclude himself from help. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that too. I think also what Raven mentioned earlier is, and what OP said about like ambitions. I think his ambitions are so high that now maybe their like cost of living is to a point that he has to feel like that's maintained, and maybe he just feels like he's got a lot of stuff on his shoulders, and the baby's not helping. But so top comment. You might want to consider that your husband could be heading towards a nervous breakdown. It may be helpful to sit down with him and have an open conversation about his mental health. And then somebody else said this: don't view this situation as being about you and whether you're the asshole. View it as, how do you work together to make sure your family is doing well? Also, don't stop working if you're still working. And then OP responded, thanks for this comment. I think you're both right. The issue is that he's refusing help at this stage. And if I want to abort, I need to decide quickly. I don't want to be a single mom with 2 kids.
My question to her would be, so you aborting your baby, does that mean you also leave your husband? Because I feel like if he can't handle the baby that you guys plan, then is there a future for you guys? I also feel like he definitely jumped in way too fast. Just, agreed to something that I don't feel like he was ready for. And fatherhood is scary, and it can be scary. And I feel like this is part of his way of, like, I don't know, just kind of maybe being nervous, like him just acting out because he's unsure and nervous and not sure, like, am I going to be a good dad? Am I going to be able to afford this baby? But I don't think it's fair, especially as, like, she's a pregnant woman, for her to have to deal with that stress, because that can cause her to lose the baby as well. So my advice, since she said she did well when she was, with her kid, maybe downsize or live separate for a little bit, just so he can kind of get in a new groove of things. It'll make finances better, or split them. I don't know, just kind of take a break, because I feel like we were talking about earlier, the marriage was maybe premature. You jumped in like, let's have a house, let's have a kid, let's do all this stuff. And now all of a sudden he's like, shit, what did I do? Because I'm trying to build the perfect family, but in turn, it's turning me a little crazy, and I'm not sure it's what I wanted to do. And as a pregnant mother, that kid is hearing him yell and freak out. Like, that's not good for her 9-year-old either.
Yeah.
So I say, get out of the situation, even if it's temporary. Not saying you have to divorce him, but he needs help. He's not willing to take your help. And that can be dangerous to your unborn and your living child.
Which I totally agree with, if she wasn't pregnant currently, because if her biggest fear is, I don't want to be a single mother with 2 kids, that's like her problem that's happening right now. Like, how does she solve that? She's like, I don't know if I can depend on my husband now, because it could very well end up like, this is a phase, and he's like, he has to go through it. Because I'm like, I kind of feel close to what this man thinks, like, because I'm like, you have this idea of what you want your life to be, and then you think you can live up to stuff, you think you can do things, and you're like, whoa, I'm not ready, I can't do it. So I'm like, I get that fear, but now you're relying on him of whether he's going to be able to work through that, or if he's just going to completely fail, because a lot of people just fail, unfortunately. Yeah. And now I am stuck with this responsibility, and I didn't want to be. I wish we could have had this discussion before I got married, and or before we got pregnant, and we could have worked through this. But now I'm like, I have this decision of, I'm basically gambling on whether he's going to work through this or not. And now an unborn baby's life isn't a decision. Like, their quality of life is based on what he's going to do. Yeah. And that's rough. That's why I kind of do. I feel for OP. And you saying something like, if she did abort, would they get divorced? Or should they get divorced? That is big. Because I'm like, yeah, if you got an abortion in the middle of a marriage, what does that do to the marriage? I feel like
fuck you. We planned this kid.
Yeah.
And now I'm pregnant, and you're basically bailing out or throwing a fit or, whatever. Yeah. because that's not fair. And I don't know where she stands when it comes to like abortion or anything, but that's big too. So say, okay, we can't do this. We sit down. He's ready to talk to me. We agree on abortion. 6 months down the line, is he, I think we should try again. No, F you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know if I would even want to try again at that point. So now what does this do to our marriage? What does our marriage look like?
Yeah.
Because we sat down, made a plan, went along with that plan, and you completely just threw it to shits and I had to get an abortion. And now you want me to sit down and plan another pregnancy with you?
Mm-hmm. Well, they even mentioned in the comments, I didn't screenshot this, but it was somebody basically saying, especially from her their last response, which was the fact that he's refusing help. The person was basically saying, yeah, you should get out as soon as possible because I was married to somebody who refused help for like, you know, I think it was 20, 30 plus years. And they're like, it was like, you know, the worst thing in the world. So I think definitely a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah.
Whether you stick together or not, what happens with the baby, all of that other stuff. Because I do get what you're saying of like staying together after choosing to have an abortion when the baby was planned and how that affects both people in the relationship just in general with an abortion, and then like being potentially feeling better mentally and then wanting to try again. It just adds a lot to a relationship that wasn't necessarily like, not saying everything's agreed upon, but a lot of extra stuff. So
I do agree with like leaving someone who refuses help.
Yeah.
Because I was a person who refused help and I was not a good partner. So I never faulted anyone who was like, okay, then I'm out if you're not going to help. And now that I am a person who's actively seeking help, it's different now. I couldn't say that I could be that person in those relationships previously before that. So I'm like, that is a big thing. You can have all these issues. You can have like mental issues, physical issues, but all this stuff. But if you don't want to like actually work to make a change, then I don't really want to be in a partnership with someone who doesn't want to put the work in to make their lives better, because it benefits them for their lives to be better. If you're like, you don't even care about yourself. And
also it's now negatively affecting OP because you hate your life so much, you're treating me different.
Exactly.
So now you're not even treating me respectfully.
I'm going home to hell because you're like mad all the time at the world.
Yeah.
And the 9-year-old, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
The 9-year-old's just chilling there. It just sucks.
And he's probably getting cussed at for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, like, why are there chips on the kitchen counter? I think that's where they go. You know, like.
Where they're just out on the counter.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you got a family, things are just a little messy, you know?
I mean, he took them out and then decided he didn't want them, but forgot to put them back in the pantry.
I'm actually getting mad right now.
And he got cussed at for it.
I'm actually getting angry. Why are the chips on the counter?
Yeah, where are they?
No, hold on. This all makes sense now.
Also, I wanted to bring light to that. I wonder what the financial decision was too beforehand, because it sounds like, at least from hearing it, it sounded like they were in a good space to have the baby, but then there's financial decisions that were made to rely on his income a lot more before the baby started to come.
I think their financial situation is good right now if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's like getting burnt out to the point where he probably can't continue to really do what he's doing unless his mental health just continues to decline.
But didn't it say beforehand that they made a decision, a few big financial decisions that
he mainly pushed towards?
Mainly pushed towards.
Yeah. Which is why their life maybe is their life is different than how she was before when she just had her kid and she was only living off of her income and, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is coming from an unmarried person. I think it's concerning if you're like, I made these changes to better my life, and there wasn't like a conversation that happened together like, hey, we should both work towards this. And if I really want this and you don't, like, isn't that a red flag of like, we're completely on two different wavelengths? You're like, hey, I'm trying to enjoy life. It's not about the money to me. And he's like, no, we need to have the money to do this and get to this point and get to this point. I'm like, maybe we're incompatible in that way. If we just see life in two fundamentally different ways, that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's all the stories we have for right now. So if you're still here, thank you for staying.
And you just didn't fast forward.
And you didn't fast forward.
Yeah.
We actually know. We're not going to choose
That's
you.
most
if you fast
important.
forward. We'll know.
We'll never know.
We should actually add a question. Did you
Yeah,
fast forward?
did you
Did you fast forward?
Be honest.
They all lie.
Yeah. What it do, subscribers, comfort levelers, comforters, ottomans? Do you want to No. No.
The disrespect.
Comforters and ottomans specifically. I guess the few cousins out there, if you want to come, you can also do it. But we got an opportunity for you.
This is our 100K subscriber live stream. Can I get a
Oi!
Hey yo!
Oi!
We are going to do a 100K live stream special
Whoa.
with some subscribers. We're going to do it with 10 subscribers.
That's a lot of subscribers.
We are going to have, basically, it's going to be like, we're going to read a story with each subscriber. So we're going to do 10 stories in a live stream.
Yeah.
We're going to introduce you. You're going to have a chance to hear the story, react to it, maybe chat a little bit.
We're going to chat.
That's if Madi doesn't hand out a gag order.
We'll see.
Well see during the live stream. She might institute a gag order in the middle of it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Y'all talking too much.
But I think we're going to be there all day.
I think it's going to be a long live stream for 10 people.
Because if y'all in it, we giving you your time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're going
we
to give
are.
you your time.
We are.
Yeah.
We are going to put a Google form in the description to sign up. So there's some questions you have to answer.
Can I sign up?
You can sign up.
So you can sign
Sadia's
up.
just in it.
I'm like, dang, Esther's one of the guests.
We gotta pick her. But yeah, so we're gonna put this on Facebook. We're gonna put it on Spotify. It'll be in the description in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube for sure.
All that.
So all you have to do is click or copy the link and fill out the information if you want to be a part of it. Thank
Make
you
sure
again.
to show your personality because
Yes, make sure to show. These questions are important for us picking you. Like we're gonna pick you completely off
this
this
is all
questionnaire.
we're going off of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless you DM money to one of the hosts.
Don't do
in
that.
Case
Well,
to get you to the
well,
top.
I'm gonna be applying, so there's 9 spots left.
So technically
Okay.
there's 9 spots.
There's 9 spots.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
I hope you
We
understand.
can't do
Yeah.
anything about it. She will win in any competition she's in. So there is maybe 9 or 10. We'll see if
9 or
SJ.
10.
Fingers crossed for you guys that SJ does not apply because if she does, it will be 9.
There will be 9 spots.
But anyway, thank you guys for 100,000 subscribers.
Yes.
We're over here celebrating with cake, and we want to do something where we can give back, spend time with you,
Yeah.
the people who created this community.
Yeah.
And just have some stories with you. That's something that we've heard that people are interested in and want to be a part of. So if you want to do that and be a part of that, make sure to go in the Google form and fill it out. But anyway, when is this, right? When are we doing this?
When are we doing
Yeah,
this?
when?
So we
When?
are doing
I
this.
forgot already. It's like literally,
Already?
It's so easy.
We are doing this June 14th at 1
Okay.
p.m. It's a
Ooh.
Saturday,
Central.
Central Standard Time,
When is this video going up?
Tuesday.
I need to see when I put in my
Tuesday.
application.
Apply if you want to be on the live stream. We would love to have you.
Some of you.
This isn't like The Bachelor. There's no eliminations.
There are no eliminations.
You're just coming
But I
on,
guess there's
responding to
still
a
chance
story.
To date me, I think.
We
my
can't say
God.
that,
I
Sam.
feel like there's still a chance. Your boy's still looking, so I guess
Read stories. And
we're
also-
not ruling it out. If a spark happens,
Love
then
is
what am
on
I?
the line.
Love is on
Oh
the
my
line.
God.
It's not Bachelor 2, but it could be.
Tell us your favorite episode. We're at the 100K episode. Tell us your favorite episode.
Which
We
That's
want
a
to
good
know.
one.
favorite?
Or tell us your favorite guest, too. That's
I
easy.
mean, yeah, that might
Just
hurt
kidding,
some
that's
people's
easy.
So
feelings.
we already told them to make sure to show love to SJ. So do that.
Do that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
And
tell
tell
us.
us what your favorite guest. And we know it's the same person. So I
We
guess it doesn't-
know
Or favorite
what
episode.
the answer is.
Favorite episode's good.
Raven, thanks for coming on the episode.
Thank you, Raven.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thanks
What'd
for
you think?
having
Your dream of
me.
being on a podcast.
It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
We're going to film a Patreon episode, and then we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.